Where's the stream?
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, I can. It works.
This year has marked a turning point in Star Citizen's history. We have finally moved past the question of whether we can build an architecture to deliver a universe with incredible detail at massive scale, seamlessly and where thousands of people.
No, it hasn't. I still got 4 seconds left.
Pretty much flawlessly at scale.
Living in the past there, bud.
It has brought a more populated and active verse with up to 700 players online and in the same space at once. It's greatly increased server performance and delivered a much more responsive player experience. I couldn't be prouder of the team. They delivered something no other online game does presently. There may be other games out there that claim large player counts, or even the ability to mesh, but none do it at our detail, scale, and seamlessness. Of course, there will be continued improvements to server meshing and to Star Engine, but having moved past this last big technological hurdle has allowed us to finally focus on quality of life and stability improvements, something that has long been overdue. We're about to deliver our 9th patch in 10 months, with content that has brought Star Citizen storytelling into new and exciting directions. We pushed more than 24 features and more than 2,000 bug fixes. And while there is still a long way to go, the game has gotten more stable, performant, and fun as a result. We see this in player metrics. More of you play every day. The daily average users is up 45% from last year, and your play time is up 15%. So more people venture out into the verse and stay there longer than ever before. And through all that, we've told the dual stories of the Frontier Fighters Assault on Pyro and the moral compromises being made to combat the regen crisis. Now, as those stories come to
Be right back. I gotta see if my brother's still gonna watch the stream too.
Where the instability in Pyro and the callous actions of some pave the way to new adventures, new locations, and new threats. Last year, we announced our next star system would be Nyx, home to the People's Alliance of Levski and bordering the Vandal threat. Today, we're proud to share that your adventures in Nyx begin not next year, but next month, when Star Citizen's 3rd system comes online in
Oh man, Nyx!
Systems in 1 year.
Nyx is coming next month.
Work of our development teams, server meshing accelerating what's possible, the support teams behind the scenes.
Believe it when I say it.
Now I do miss that we're not all together under one roof this year, but in many ways we're more connected than ever. Across the globe, many of you are gathering at watch parties, 9 of them with our developers in attendance, and countless others springing up in communities everywhere, and all happening simultaneously today. So even if we're separated by oceans and continents, we're bound together by the same passion for space, for discovery, and for this incredible universe we're building together. Whether you're at home or alongside your crew at a watch party, grab a drink, sit back, and let us take you inside our up-and-coming plans for the next year of Star Citizen.
With the
Where you guys
foundational
at?
technology
The bar?
now in place, the content development of the game is no longer restricted, allowing us to forge ahead with building out our first 5 star systems. Nyx will see the much-loved Levski landing zone added back to the verse, while also bringing you one of its most iconic landmarks, the Glacian Belt. Here, you'll experience a new combined arms operation that will introduce new factions and new adventures for you to discover. With this edition of our third star system, we're also going to do something that's at the heart of the entire star system experience, and that is to build it right in front of you. As we have done this year, with the addition of several major locations, such as the Hathor facility or the Lazarus complex, we will continue to unveil new Nyx content throughout the year. It's a slightly different approach to how we deliver Pyro, but we feel this gets the content into your hands sooner and shows our intent as we continue our march towards 1.0. I'm so incredibly proud of the work our teams have done and are continuing to do, and we're excited to have you on this next step of our journey. And as with any journey in Star Citizen, that begins with a little story.
In 2025, we introduced two major storylines spanning multiple patches, creating a living backbone for adventure across the universe. The first was Pyro Must Burn. It connected Stanton to Pyro and introduced the Frontier Fighters, who are relentless, brutal, and determined to wipe out any threats that cross them. And with this month's release, you'll now take part in the conclusion to that storyline. The second was Science Run Amok, with the Regen Crisis throwing the Empire into chaos, and you all jumping in to help the various corporations respond. Through that journey, we pulled back the curtain on ASD and its shady practices, uncovering long-forgotten Onyx facilities, and met new characters like Dr. Logan Yorit and Detective Arkham Mella of the Hokro Agency. And just like the Pyro Must Burn storyline carried us into a new system, Science Run Amok is now setting the stage for Nyx, the next step in the larger story we're telling on the road to 1.0. As this new chapter of Star Citizen begins, let's hear from just a few of the team members working to bring this next era of our universe to life.
When the Nyx system was first discovered, the United Empire of Earth, the UE, came out and did scans and kind of found out that the system wasn't really worth settling. The planets were too hard to terraform, the resources were too tough to get, so they opened it up. And one company saw opportunity where the UE didn't, QV Planet Services. And so they expanded into the system and tried to mine as much as they could, making a very slim margin by the sheer quantity of resources they were pulling out.
The system itself sort of ran its course from sort of a large corporate interest perspective, and then was mostly left abandoned.
Now this ended up being the ideal situation for the People's Alliance, who were a group of revolutionaries who were trying to overthrow the dictatorship of the Messer regime that was going on in the Empire at the time.
So they went to the Nyx system and established what became known as Levski. They wanted to make it everything that the UEE wasn't at this time.
They set up what they saw as their ideal society, where everyone's voices would be heard, where everyone would be equal. But they've fallen onto hard times. So Nyx today is kind of at an interesting point in its history. Now that the UEE has kind of transformed itself into a democratic society, what is their role? What are the People's Alliance rebelling against? And they still see the Empire as being inherently unfair. They see their role as still trying to create a free and fair society. But on the other hand, they have more problems than ever. And there's new threats lurking around every corner. And they have to ask, are they prepared to handle that? Or do they need to turn to the UEE for help?
Making a star system is, you approach it from kind of two angles in a weird way. What is this system bringing to the gallery? How does this new system plug into it, and what does it bring to the table from a sort of a flavor experience? We want to make sure that whatever it's bringing to the company is unique and has some flair to it.
So the Nix system is a remote system where people want to go and live free outside of the pressure and influence of the UEE. It's a remote and rugged
I'm back.
system with a lot of hostility coming from the ever-present threat of Vandal.
It's kind of like a frontier-esque thing. It's not lawless like Pyro, it's just kind of out there. Pyro's more like a Mad Max wasteland, and Nix is more like Silverado or like Deadwood, right? It's kind of like a smaller scope.
The emptiness and the loneliness is the defining factor. You're still going to find gangs, you're still going to find hostile presences, but it's where people go if they want to live off the grid.
The People's Alliance is the main peacekeeping force in Nix.
They were unhappy with the direction that the Empire was going under the Messers. They got out. They said, we're just going to start from scratch, build our own society, but build it the way that we think it needs to be built.
They're not perfect. They're just people, but they're doing their best. They want to help keep Nix safe and make it prosper.
They are trying to do the best that they can, but are faced with the realities of dealing with people, which is tricky.
The Pyro Star is quite a warm star. Stanton Star is quite neutral. And the Nix is a little bit cooler. The system has its star, and it has this dark, really, really dense gas, sort of nebulous cloud. And it has points of light scattered around it, and those points of light in this gas cloud is really, really hazy. So because Nix is bordering Vandal space, it was important that we have a gap in the Nix gas cloud where you could sort of just, in between the clouds,
Much as I can turn my head.
a piece of the Vandal space. It feels so close that it's even like protruding some red light. The level designers are using it as an actual visual indicator of where to place more dangerous POIs. So if you point your ship in the direction of it, you should find, as we build it out, that you will be in more and more danger. And I think that's really cool. To give more atmosphere, I was testing out adding some sort of space snowflakes, essentially. So when you look towards the sun, you can sort of see that sort of like sparkle. But then when you look away from the sun, you'll see the reflections and sort of like little glints of light. For the jump points in Nix, we'll have 2 on this release. We'll have one from Pyro to Nix and one from Stanton to Nix. It should be going from Nix to Castra, but we're essentially bypassing Castra temporarily. Hey, we want to make sure you can get there any way you want.
Glacian Belt is a huge asteroid belt that is in sort of the middle of the system.
Glacian Belt is a combination of a bunch of technologies that we already had. The asteroid fields we use for planetary rings and the gas clouds, and it's combining them to make something completely new that we've just not seen before.
It's full of resources that are still left unharvested because it's kind of a tricky spot for mining. It's not the easiest place to go, but that means that there's still a lot of opportunity for independent miners to go out there.
So the rocks in Nix are a bit more sharp, like sorts of like icy look, rocky, cliff-like, very different from those in the Pyro and the Stanton.
One of the big differences too is all of that extra added movement that just adds a little bit of extra flair.
It's also a good hiding spot.
Just got into the hangar.
Who are trying to elude capture, maybe set up ambushes, that type
I'm waiting for the guy to come here, but shoot.
Always feel way more interesting flying in those spaces than just, you know, empty void.
And as we build out the Glacian Belt over the next year, lots of places to put new content.
Delamar is a very large asteroid in the Glacian Belt that QV Planet Services had built a mining base on that got taken over by the People's Alliance and renamed Levski.
Levski is our first and biggest social outpost for Nix.
It's kind of like the place where you stop before you do your panning. So it's kind of a San Francisco before you go out to the gold rush.
It's going to be the central hub for trade and hauling and all of the commerce within Nyx and also from Nyx to other systems. But it does have a CD underlayer to it.
Over the years, you're sort of improving the generation method of those asteroids to culminate towards
always.
this specific point to
You're
make
too classy for this,
large,
Kirby. You're too classy.
explorable location. When you fly towards Levski, you see this huge gas ring around it, scattered small, mid-sized pieces of the asteroids.
Well, Levski is immediately apparently unique by the fact that it's a facility clamped onto the side of an asteroid. The breathtaking views of looking into the belt instantly gives it a unique charm and flavor.
As you approach, you'll initially see a very dramatic borehole that goes all the way through the asteroid. You'll also see, growing out from there and alongside Levski, there will be landing pads along what I'd call the spine. Lots of industrial pipes and transport systems to bring out the refined mining materials when it was a mining station.
Before, we were using an actual planet, so we had all of the space available to place all of these structures. But now it kind of meant that we had to create an asteroid which has the appropriate size to.
If we took the whole shot of the asteroid, you will see that there is an area to fly underneath. We plan on bringing in whole sea gameplay, so this is exterior cargo elevators, so as a team you will be able to load and unload cargo.
There's a lot more movement on the exterior, such as the cargo trains going around tracks. It's now going to be fully EVA-able. There will be walkways around the main landing zone to walk on using gravity plates, but you can drift off.
It just seems like a whole bunch more stuff to glitch and go bad.
They can explore fully the whole place, which is great.
I love
Unlike
what
the majority
they're thinking,
of anarchists
but
living
good
in
grief, they
Pyro,
can't even get
there are
elevators
people
to
here in
work
Nyx that
right.
care.
It's not a downtrodden or derelict, dilapidated location. It has a sense of order.
But only where the People's Alliance has people living.
But we've had Levski before, and we've updated it quite substantially to be more in line with the newer features that have been put in since, but also visually, and there's been a lot of quality of life fixes that we've wanted to add and bring up to like a good standard for a landing zone.
Gracing the main lobby of Levski is a large statue of Anthony Tanaka, who was a child worker.
And was being worked to death, all of them were. And Anthony Tanaka just had a break and just said no, and stood up against the foremen, the supervisors, the managers, the guards, and was killed for it. And so he became a sort of a figurehead.
And kind of was one of the linchpin moments in seeing the fall of the Messer regime.
So if you take the elevator up to the top deck, you'll see the top view and the cargo area as well. So you can go through the cargo shop. You've
Glad
got
you
your
could join
normal
us.
kind of cargo needs. You'll have
Take off.
ability to trade and buy your tractor beam and other gear that you need. So if you were to die in the Nyx system, then one of the places you might come out from is the
Had a little
hospital
moment
in
there.
Levski, which is called the Mercy Hospital.
So Mercy Hospital is just basically, it's a local med station for all the residents of Levski, anybody traveling through the system. Again, they're trying to provide as good medical help for people as they can.
When you arrive at the HAB's location, you'll be presented with a lobby, elevator bank, and then you will take that transit to the HAB room. So within that room will be pods.
And that's where the original miners would have lived. They're not the nicest, and they're a bit messy, but they're a home for people in Levski. If you head down to the lower view deck, you'll go through into the Grand Barter, which is your main social and commercial area of Levski.
This is where you will see market sellers selling their wares. There will be stalls, there will be kind of more embedded shops.
And that includes things like Corderies, which is your armor shop, and also conscientious objects, which is for weapons. There's also one of my favorite places, Cafe Musée, which is where you can go down into some of the more rocky depths and grab yourself a drink, and you never know who you meet down there. If you explore a bit more around the Grand Barter, there's other routes around and little side passages. There's another shop that's away from that area called Teachers.
Teach's Ship Shop is basically where you would go if you were looking to pick up a used ship, buy some ship parts, fix up your old ship, find some new stuff, sell some scrap.
We've closed up Dumpers Depot for Levski, and everything that used to be sold there will now be sold at Teachers. Another new area, as well as the cargo shop that we've added, is the refinery deck for Levski. That's where you can take your processed goods, not just from Levski, but from the rest of the Nyx system, and refine and sell those goods there. As a lot of the content in the next coming releases for Nyx is going to be mining related. So it's super important that Levski is a really nice hub for mining type of gameplay. So we're really happy to bring Levski back into the game. It's been gone for quite a few years now.
I think it really provided a unique environment.
My commentary only degrades the brain.
Run down, but the people who live there love it and are working hard to make it a great place to live.
This is a location that has a lot of nostalgia for you guys.
Man, did they really have to close down Dumpers Depot
It's just to be a re-release.
and move it completely? They could have just couldn't they just make a second one?
As complete as Pyro was it first came out, but it's going to be our first iteration, and you're going to be able to see it grow.
No, they're gonna replace Dumpers Depot.
With everything, we're always
Something
learning
else.
and improving and finding new ways.
I mean, is there anything more Star Citizen than just building the system while the players watch us build it around them?
It's going to add a nice dynamic to Stanton and be a much more calming of style system than Pyro.
The people that would have played it before are going to love to see this come back, and the people that haven't seen it before, it's going to be a great new location.
This is the first time that I'm going to be able to touch stuff and kind of bring my own content to the game, and that's really exciting to me.
Levski coming back into the game is a huge milestone personally for me. So I worked on the original quite some time ago, so seeing it come back and updated and improved and better is fantastic. So we've talked about Levski, we've talked about the Glacian Belt, but you're probably asking yourself, what's the new gameplay activity we're going to be doing? So let's find out.
Welcome to Nyx is your first experience in a new space station in a new solar system.
It's a mystery to be solved. There's things for the player to explore and look into. There's going to be some twists and turns, of course some combat, and if you're lucky enough to survive, maybe some good rewards.
This is basically a continuation of kind of our ASD storyline. So in the closing out what we had called our Science Run Amok storyline, we had revealed that ASD had been procuring sort of very black market illegal stuff in order to conduct their experiments. So this mission is basically going to be continuing on that trail.
So the Navy has learned that illegal tech is being sold in the UAE, and they're hiring Intersect to investigate. Intersect Defense Solutions is the leading military defense contractor in the UAE. So the Navy contracts with them a lot for doing various kind of military operations that they don't want to.
I think I'm gonna get me one of those Novas.
That want players to be working directly for the Navy. The Navy just doesn't call up random citizens and ask like, hey, if you're free, can you fly a helicopter? I guess as a player, when you can think about like, oh, where am I going to be doing missions that are capital ship battles or large fleet scale stuff or military operations? That's all going to come from Intersect Defense Solutions. Intersect have discovered the source of the illegal tech is in the NIC system and an old abandoned QV Planet Services logistics station that's come back online.
So they want the players to figure out what's going on.
So when you come out of Quantum and you start your approach vector to the objective, you'll be weaving through asteroids, going through the Glacian belt, and slowly the station will reveal itself. Now this isn't
great, more ASD style stuff. Cool. What about, more crew stuff?
There's some points of interest that you'll spot as you go through. So the station itself shares design cues from old Pan Am stations found in Pyro. This architectural design found its way over to the NIC system as the system was being established. But you'll also see some additional design cues that QV Planetary Services were adding, so it's a nice transition architectural point. It's fairly skeletal in design. You'll see logistics yards and cargo yards, but also facilities pinned inside the asteroid, creating this network of facilities. You'll notice there's a Polaris near the main hub. It's not a normal Polaris. It's damaged, it's broken. It's not a standard corporate Polaris. So at this point, you should be asking yourself, who does this belong to? Away from the Polaris, you'll see struts leading to asteroid bases. Now these asteroid bases are locked, so you don't know exactly what's inside just yet. But all of this comes together to form the playground for the mission to take place. So not only is this facility unabandoned, but it's also under attack from a surprising but familiar foe.
First time in the PU, the Vandal.
So the Vandal.
Vandal!
Nomadic, very, very, very violent spacefaring race.
They've been striking out against outposts and such in the NIC system. They don't really know what they want, don't know why they're doing it, but it seems like whoever's running the station is really pissed them off.
Vandal raiding parties have been arriving in the system, and they're unaffiliated to any clan. There's small groups coming in and picking at them. But as time goes on, those raids are getting bigger and more frequent.
They'll be the scythes that you're familiar with, glaives and blades that we all know and hate, and a new craft for the PU, the Vandal Stinger.
You will be contacted by some civilians on arrival asking you for help.
So at this point, you have a choice. You can either bug out, mission over, or join the fight. This will be the first time since the PU launched that you'll be able to fight against Vandal aggressor ships.
This fight will be intense. The player should be able to deal with them, but they will have to be prepared and they'll have to come back in to fight off this initial wave, and that won't be the end of it.
After you fight off the Vandal ships, the mysterious inhabitants of the station invite you to come on board.
Which Intersect sort of will encourage you to do.
Vandal totally make me think of the Romulans.
What's happening here, why these QB stations have come back online.
You dock your ship, you board the station, and it turns out the inhabitants here have a real surprise for you.
The player will be immediately ambushed. These guys are not your friends.
Of course, it's not going to be easy because the people that are inhabiting the station are going to fight you every step of the way.
The fight will be challenging, but this definitely will be the warm-up phase of this mission. This will be the players getting a sense of what exactly is going on there, who these new people are. They'll be in unfamiliar armor. They'll be wielding unfamiliar weapons. And we want you to get a sense that you are in a new
armor and
place,
weapons.
in a new territory, fighting a new faction.
So after you survive this initial ambush, you get back in touch with Intersect, and obviously the question is, Who are these people? Why are they attacking? Why are the Vandal attacking them?
At this point, there's more going on here than anyone thought. The directive from Intersect is to explore the station and collect as much information as you possibly can.
Usually wouldn't spoil this part. It will take us by
It's not
surprise.
just the space station. There's the disabled capital
Yeah,
ship.
I agree.
There's asteroid bases nearby with obvious installations there, other forces that the Vandal have been attacking. There's a debris field.
Explore the locations in any order you want and try to find out who these people are and why the Vandal are after them.
You'll find new clues. You'll find ways to solve the puzzle of what's going on at the space station and find out what kind of loot they have for you now that you've beat them.
And of course, this is a legally open station, so anything you find is yours to keep and sell, maybe even give to Wicklow. This isn't just a one-time event, this is a permanent sort of
Crew
mission.
Wicklow, that schemer.
You can go back and repeat this mission and find ways to do it even better, even faster.
There'll be a different story and different flavor. Obviously, we can't have the same thing happen every time. There'll be other missions that Intersect will offer to you based on the evidence that you found.
Now you know the real story, and you can start digging and giving more information to Intersect along the way.
I'm super excited to finally see the Vandal in the PU.
I'm excited to bring cool Vandal ship combat to SC.
Players in the PU will now get to face down these awesome ships and get a taste of like we already have it in Arena Commander where you get to fight the Vandal swarm, and being able to do that in the PU is going to be, I think, a heck of a lot of fun.
So this marks a great milestone for us for not only pushing hard and adding great content this year, we're also being able to introduce the next star system and introducing the next landscape to tell new stories and add new gameplay beats into the ever-expanding universe. So we'll leave 4.4 there. If you're at one of the watch parties, please raise a toast to the great work that all the teams have been doing this year. And I'll be right back in just a few minutes to look ahead at some of the things coming in 2026.
Hello, everyone.
So no building right now,
Voyager
no crafting.
bar in beautiful scenic Orison, where the staff of
Not
Cloud
yet.
Games
They haven't said
Manchester is
anything about
gathered
it.
for their very own CiTCON
Yeah.
Direct watch party.
Oh,
As
that's
the
a cool
dozens of
place.
such events happening at locations around the world, we've gathered today to watch
I
this
think our
sneak
watch
peek
party's
at just a
cool.
little of
Yeah.
what the next year of Star Citizen has in store for everyone.
Yeah, we're doing the watch party in the obituary. This is better.
Everybody, I'm Jared Huckabee, your host.
Now
for the
pass me over the vent
and
slug.
show today, and let me tell you, it's not a joke, it's not a gag. Next week, we're hitting our 9th patch in 10 months, and then in November, we're going to finish out the year strong with the long-awaited arrival of the Nyx system. And in case you missed it, because you were chatting with friends, hi. It's not the lawless wasteland of Pyro many folks have been speculating, but an independent system with its own set of rules and laws and multiple
I
ways
want
to
his
get there.
job so
It's an
bad.
exciting time for everyone at Cloud Imperium Games because, as the architects of our persistent universe said at the start of the show, the foundational tech that we've been building for so many years has now unlocked us to bring more to Star Citizen than ever before as we continue our journey towards 1.0. Now, before we continue with the show, let's get a few housekeeping tasks out of the way. First, we're simulcast on YouTube and Twitch. So if you want the keen communities of Twitch or the 4K ultra high resolution of YouTube, you have your choice. Second, throughout the broadcast today, we want to see
I was definitely a little kissing YouTube's ass on that one.
by using hashtag CitizenGo.
Right.
We're especially interested to see any
I thought it was just me. Yeah, he definitely was.
across the globe, and we're going to find some way to bring him
But he
They
took
could've done a-
YouTube's knob and
later in the program.
slobbed it.
Third, we've also had a citizen
And he has audio dancing. That's annoying me so hard. He could have done a better job in this.
in the PU videos, and we played the winning entries during our pre-show countdown.
Welcome to our
The
watch
offerings
party.
were super varied. The idea was to work with a team to show the life of a miner or a hauler or a bounty hunter or whatever. But one guy just said, I'm going to make a video about how awesome I am. And I respect that. So shout out Nocturnal Revenant. I don't remember if you were one of the winners getting an L21 Wolf from Kruger for their efforts, but you won the coveted Disco Lando Complete Narcissist Award. Good job. And to all the winners, I'm sure someone will either be in touch with you about your wolves or they'll just show up on your accounts. I really don't know how that process works. Probably would have been good to find out before the show, huh? He's so afraid. Either way, if you missed the pre-show and are curious if you won, you can check the replay after we're done here today. All right. I just realized that my bosses, Chris and Sandy, are sitting in a movie theater watch party in Switzerland right now. A completely captive audience. So real behind the scenes here. This is especially torturous for Chris right now because he's super excited about the next segment we've got coming up. Aren't you, Chris? And you're just sat
Well,
there
yes,
right
I
now,
am.
forced to watch and listen to anything I say.
That's
Either
great.
of you regret that decision so long ago?
Oh,
All right, so I've
it's so
probably
funny.
pushed my luck enough. Let's get to the next thing. When Nyx arrives next month, it'll have Levski, the Glacium Belt, and the new Welcome to Nyx operation we just discussed. But throughout 2026, we'll also continue to build the star system out with new features and new technologies that will not only set Nyx apart and give it a unique identity from its sibling star systems, but continue to set Star Citizen apart from other video games altogether. Now at this point, if you're running one of the watch parties, you're gonna wanna crank your speakers up for some brand new music from the maestro Pedro himself, and let's take a look at some.
All right,
of
now
what the
I
Nyx
do
gear
got to
has
give
offer
props to
in the
their
Nyx system.
maestro. Whoever they got making music for Star Citizen lately is boss mode.
Yeah, the war music, it's
Art
beautiful.
inspires the best technology, and through the development of that technology, it pushes us to create even better art. When Genesis comes to the persistent universe starting next year, it will change how you experience every world, and not just in the building of the new planets for the Nyx system. We will also go back through Stanton and Pyro and reimagine them through the lens of our technology. Previously, and more traditionally, we'd create slices of biomes, like deserts or forests. This approach moved us forwards and got us this far, but solving the scale was always tricky. And for Star Citizen, we like to do scale on another level. Issues like seeing tiling from our height maps from high altitude, or the unpredictable blending when two biomes connected, were common. But ultimately, things just never felt right. Our worlds were gorgeous, but to us, they still sometimes felt like interpretations. Now this was a super hard problem, which we needed to solve at the scale for Star Citizen requires. We challenged ourselves to emulate nature in the most believable way, and not just on a planetary scale, but to
I injured myself while training. I got bleeding eyes and ears while deadlifting. Huh?
With Genesis, we've made a complete paradigm shift to how we do things.
I will get there soon. I just have to work home. I'm a bit busy, you know.
With the assets
Just wanted to inform you.
whenever and wherever the correct criteria is found.
Yo, you can start for me. Don't wait for me, please. I don't want to run for you. I'm alright, I'm done. I will get there. See you later, man. Bye-bye.
Genesis also ties into our other gameplay systems. Our new planets are built from the information we create for our different datasets.
Is that the F8C?
Like height maps, humidity, temperature, soil types, soil amounts, geology,
What's
erosion
that right
data,
there? No.
to name but a
No,
few.
that's a Polaris, the one that was just flying.
This means
That one right there?
you can now tell where to find valuable minerals as the
The one that was
geology
just
looks
skimming across the
will be
grass.
suitable for it.
Oh, no, miss.
Where scree piles exist below sheer cliff
Oh, look at this.
where rocks are broken off over time
Oh,
due to erosion.
that's beautiful.
Of course, these new tools still give us the ability to direct the look and feel we want.
Space
The attention to
mushrooms!
detail, from the tallest mountain to the smallest flower, is still our core DNA. With Genesis, we can now keep that detail-orientated mindset as we focus on the quality, and it provides the quantity. Genesis provides our planets with the ultimate sense of exploration and adventure, discovery in the purest emotional form. We want you to find that perfect place, with the planets providing an abundant resource to harvest. This is a major part of what exploration is for us. We want that feeling of finding a corner of the universe that you'll fall in love with, and where you want to settle down and build your home. Now I'm going to hand you over to Will to go deeper into what we have built that allows Genesis to realize our vision. As a reminder, some of the visuals you'll see will evolve and change as we continue our technological development and hone in on the final look for Nyx.
Thanks, Ian. So, in case it's not already clear, Genesis is our name for a group of technologies that are improving our ability to build worlds, refining those that we've already created, and ultimately expanding our persistent universe to the scale and quality that we all expect. I work on planet tech, so let's talk about how that's continued to evolve since our presentation last year. And instead of just highlighting some really cool biomes that we can create, let's go ahead and show how all this work applies to the upcoming planets of Nyx. So there are 3 planets in Nyx. Nyx 3 is a gas giant, and I think it's blue. It's not going to surface, I don't really know. Nyx 2 is a yellow, toxic, it's got like this high pressure atmosphere, and it's like a very volatile planet with high risk reward gameplay. It's going to have some really interesting biomes for you to discover, but for now, just know it's going to be dangerous, because today we're going to focus on what we consider to be the hero planet of this system. Nyx 1 has got a rugged, remote beauty. It's got a diverse set of biomes, from weathered rocky mountain ranges to vast sweeping forests and grasslands, and from damp, expansive wetlands to claustrophobic, festering swamps.
We may be moving to Nyx,
core
boys.
biome concepts give us a fantastic platform to hone our technology.
Oh,
In some
100%.
cases, because the current tech couldn't do them at all, or because we want to completely step up our game for them. So, let's approach this planet in much
No!
the player will, from orbit.
They're gonna add atmospheric burn in.
Planets going forward is far more tied to what is present on the surface.
I think it's already in game sometimes.
We had different
but
data
maybe
that
a little bit
drove
more
the
persistent.
orbital and ground coloring. That's because the orbit was designed to look like vegetation that we'd place on the surface, and the ground coloring was trying to be a mix of soil, rock, and the organic compound coloring that forms the kind of colors there. Now we author much more of the data in a unified way. When you look at Earth, you see blues and greens for ocean and vegetation, and brown or yellowy tones for sand and soil. We wanted to keep it as simple as that. The same set of textures and data that define the color of the soil, sand, and rock on the ground are used to create the orbital look. We then assess the presence of vegetation and competition between different species on each part of the planet, and use that to blend in tones of green, including variations due to species health and the current season. This creates a far more complete image and allows you to identify features, geologies, and potential points of interest all the way from space. Let's go down to the surface and start with something closer to what you're used to, but in a whole new light.
Wait, he said season, so planets will have seasons
You
now?
caught that too, huh?
Ah.
When we approached the surface of the planet, we wanted to start by focusing on just the soil.
No, I'm just gonna winter on Pyro 4.
Previously was simply feature complexity.
A little cottage.
At our contemporaries, we lacked detail at the ground scale. To combat this, we've added a new layer of data. That layer is called the medium tiles. These are intelligently placed on top of the existing 4-kilometer terrain tiles based on slope, soil type, and other erosion data. And these medium tiles don't just create height changes, they also bring in local erosion data both for soil and bedrock size values. And this gives us a whole new level of terrain detail of scale, and allows us to create far more unique locations across the planet. So now that we've nailed the surface, let's have a look at adding some rocks. We've now got two major contributors to the rock content of our planets. Firstly, long desired feature, cliffs. We are adding large scale, very detailed to all our cliffs based on the geology at a given location. This adds an exciting new dimension to steep slopes that we simply couldn't get before. The second is a big one for you ground vehicle enthusiasts. Rocks are now found not scattered everywhere, like spilt popcorn at the cinema, but only in places
Oh my God, we're getting
expect
cliffs.
to find them, thanks to a brand new rock scattering algorithm that
We're
isn't
getting
annoying
cliffs.
as hell.
Can't wait to push Vic off a cliff.
Physical data generated
Yes,
from
please
this
do.
large round tile. Now rock distribution makes sense and has a physical basis. So if you're still crashing into them after this comes out, that's on you. The rock assets themselves have had a glow up too. We now create rock sets related to a particular geology that look like they originated from the same source. And this ties into how we'll be distributing minables in much more interesting ways too.
Look at the grass, man.
So now that our base
Oh,
terrain and rock scattering looks good, let's add some vegetation.
Yeah, but is it
and
going to be
explore some
reactive
additional
grass? Like,
biomes.
is it going to bend and sway as you walk through it?
yeah.
Yeah.
man.
Next one's
And can you smoke it?
grasslands of
Listen,
trees,
my graphics card is gonna look at that grass and fucking lose its mind.
and they're found in all sorts of elevations, like mountain valleys, open plains.
Yeah, I'm definitely
and
going to
dead
have a PC upgrade.
And when we start to add a bit of fresh water,
Yeah, I need to buy a quantum computer to play this game now.
more wetland type.
Yeah, I need like 2 supercomputers.
And wild forests
I'm gonna
are
ask Google if
super
I can go to their headquarters and play Star
grasslands and
Citizen.
wetlands today.
I'm gonna ask the military if I can borrow theirs, but shit is.
So,
Look at all that.
how are we making these look so great?
Space moo-moos.
We've had grass before, but never meadows of it. Because until now, we haven't been able to spawn grass in large enough quantities or effectively represented at distance. So
Use the
we're stepping up
Polaris.
the game in terms of spawning, shaping, and shading
Torpedo the
grass.
moo-moos.
With Genesis, we now leverage
Torpedo the
resources
moo-moos.
to create vast quantities of assets across all biomes. Whether it be dense meadows
That looks dope.
or more complex collections of ground cover like you can see.
They're stepping up their grass game. Let's go.
We just need to ruin it with a base.
Grass tiles to the ground by conforming
This
them
place
to
needs a
terrain
Walmart.
underneath. Now we can
It needs a
finally
base.
combine complex terrain shapes with grass and ground cover assets, and as a result, they are now gravity aligned, meaning each blade is oriented as you'd expect and not sticking out like before.
No, but No Man's Sky is a better game. Yeah.
Get off my grass.
Yeah.
Shading of a grass blade, or indeed a whole field of grass, is lit very differently
Well,
from a flat surface. We now use a solution that shades meadows of grass
that's better.
far more like
I like
fur or
this style
think about it
and
makes sense.
seriousness
The distance
far more
between
than No
the
Man's
grass is
Sky.
far more like a carpet or cloth than a flat surface. This
But No
improves
Man's
how
Sky
the
is
grass
light
looks
years
from our
ahead
perspective, as
with
well as being
aliens and
landscape,
biomes.
solving the distant representation of grass.
It will never reach this kind of
So let's talk
game,
about
man.
the distance problem. One of our
I just
biggest
love Star
achievements
Citizen so
with
much.
Genesis is
I'm
allowing us
almost
to
crying
build
here.
I love the game too. I just hope that they come up with some sort of
Can I say Lego?
generated,
Too late.
you
In
know,
the past,
for
this broke down very quickly when objects
future systems that
appeared
don't
in
have to
biomes
necessarily
10,
be
20, 100 kilometers away.
painstakingly put together.
Yeah, well, you know what you can't do in No Man's Sky? You're not gonna
Shoot
be
moo-moos
sitting-
and torpedoes.
You're not going to be sitting in a bar in a lawless system with your pirate crew having a watch party for the upcoming additions to Star Citizen or No Man's Sky in this instance.
Enter the virtual terrain.
So me.
Virtual terrain, or VT for short.
Where are you guys? In
cache and represent our terrain.
We're in the bar.
which bar? Which bar?
The bar.
This
Obituary bar?
is
Oh,
all
bar,
the
yep.
lovely advances in terrain complexity and asset spawning we've shown so far. And it's also
Global chat is like, my GPU's crying in pain from watching the live stream.
vegetation from a distance. When creating the VT for each part of the terrain, we assess if vegetation has covered the ground, and if so, what shading should be applied. For all of our biomes, we're now able to...
Alright, this grass and stuff, that's great. I love it. Super stoked for it. But I want to hear about crew content.
Well, how far in? Oh, we're 49 minutes in.
Those muggy wetlands.
Yeah, we're 49 minutes in and we're talking about grass.
Festering swamps.
As usual.
The swamps too.
So,
oh, swamp, man.
The most exciting stuff will be the last 30 minutes.
Built using the lessons learned and all the technologies we've developed.
Yeah, thanks, Wolf.
Muggy wetlands.
From the planetary data. This biome combines all of the elements from the other biomes we've shown you today, from water interaction, denser spawning, unique ground coverage, and I think it creates something really unique.
Hey, thanks a lot, Wolf. Appreciate it.
Anyway, that's our update on the Planet Tech portion of Genesis and how we're using it right now to sculpt the identity of Nyx 1. And I hope you're as excited as we are to explore this and everything we haven't shared yet next year.
As you can see, Genesis is now inspiring everyone here to create planets of the quality and believability we've always strived for.
Hey, thank you.
A meeting of technology and art that I truly believe will set our worlds apart from anything we've done before. And with that said,
how do I find you? You're on Twitch?
Travel between systems, literally.
You on Twitch, Bane?
Up until now,
Yeah, he's on YouTube.
Has been
DragonStar Enterprises.
Star system you're in, meaning a Stanton mission has to take place in the Stanton system, and a Pyro mission has to take place there. We've never been able to link these together, but with the introduction of our third star system, it's time for this to change. And that begins with the introduction of interstellar cargo.
What are you talking about today?
System-to-system hauling missions. Hauling is back.
No one said hauling was gone. He doesn't even play the game.
These are exactly what they say on the tin. Missions where you're going to start in, say, Stanton and end in Nyx, taking
system hauling
between the stations. So there'll be high volumes of cargo that kind of fulfill the purpose for the Hull C and the other series of Hull ships.
Now this makes my pirate senses
And
tingle.
there'll be a few sort of more direct routes.
So you might pick up some cargo from Ruin Station.
Pirate senses are tingling.
And go through the jump point to Stanton, drop it off there at one of the LEOs.
Thank you.
So if you've never sort of experienced
this is gonna make so much money.
These missions will require you to. They're no way limited. You can do them in any.
The boxes are totally not gonna explode while doing the jump, right?
Between Stanton and Nyx.
Yeah, totally not gonna explode.
I've got a few ships, but the Draco's.
Hey, it's been working fine.
One thing that we're looking to add with these interstellar missions is scripted combat encounters where you can be attacked by NPC ships.
Nah, you ain't doing that in the cutter.
Tipped off some pirates who are looking to get a hold of that cargo, as well as express missions, which means the deadline timers that you're used to in the regular hauling missions might get really tight and you've got to learn to be very fast. All of the love and care that has gone into hauling missions so far, with the logistical network and making sure they make sense within the themes of the
Ooh,
systems,
3 Corsairs?
just as much love has gone into
You be
the
fucked.
interstellar missions we're making now.
Right behind me, isn't he?
We said we was going to build out the Nyx system right in front of you after 4.4 launches next month, and why we want to keep as much of what we're doing behind closed doors so you can discover it for yourself in-game and on your own. We still are excited to share with you a brief look at one of our up-and-coming locations we're calling Rockcracker.
You know, if you had 4 fully crewed Corsairs, that's a lot of
Okay, so
firepower to rain on
Rockcracker
somebody.
is our internal name.
Rockcracker is where you have to crack a rock.
Ooh.
It's a big
Rockcracker.
You want more?
Bum cracker.
So way out into the Kiga Belt, you'll find these old QV breaker stations.
I need drink.
Might as well check myself too.
These were originally industrial facilities breaking apart large asteroids and mining them down. But since they've been mothballed and been left abandoned. So you're going to have to find your way inside and thinking about how do we bring this facility back to life. It's not just about flipping a switch. As you bring these stations back to life, you'll be lighting the beacon
Crack the
and
rock.
calling attention to these long forgotten places.
One of the main features is the laser head, which will require certain things to get working.
Are we finally going to get some exploration options?
Find how to get in.
There'll be a variety of options.
I think it's going to be more like
rock and stone.
Mining way through long forgotten
Yeah,
tunnels,
rock and stone, everyone.
or you're going through the main laser entrance. Now, as you're traversing through the facility, you'll find the old engine room. Now, there may be ways to bring the facility back to life, kickstart the engines, and bring power to different parts of the facility. Maybe eventually bringing the laser back online and cracking some rocks.
The secondary gameplay loop.
Nice. Hathor
FPS
2.0.
combat. You're not there by yourself.
There may be squatters and outlaws in these stations trying to stop you from what you want to do.
Ooh.
Was that a Tommy gun?
Sure fired like one, didn't it?
Yeah.
So you've found these old facilities, you've brought them back to life. You've systematically brought power to various functions of the facility.
Hello and welcome to our
Activated the
watch
laser.
party.
You've fired the laser. You've broken apart the rock. And then you'll be able to fly your ship inside and see what's there.
So you fly a ship into an asteroid.
Yeah. You just get into your ship and fly in and start searching around and trying to find the pieces that you want to mine.
I'm really excited about Rockcracker because it's a sandbox activity. You can kind of go to these whenever you want to.
This
That's
content
neat.
is for players who enjoy mining,
Concept
who
art.
enjoy exploration, investigation, and don't mind a little bit of FPS content while they're there.
It will be very new experience compared to any other asteroids, because this one, kind of like Alan and mine, will crack open and show its secret.
And one presumes you can make a decent amount of scratch in an asteroid that's big enough you fly your spaceship into it.
It wouldn't be worth doing if you couldn't make a good amount of coin. Yeah.
Making promises for the econ team.
Yeah. They've got to balance it.
I bet my ass that Weigelo wants everything inside of there.
When crafting comes in, when all
For
the
sure.
other
Greedy
mechanics and
bastard.
features that we want in the game for 1.0 come in, it will be a place where like an organization or a group of like 5-6 people could come and just
Wicklow
get
Idris
a
incoming.
monumental amount of minerals.
Now the stuff you
So
get from
that's
Wicklow,
a
the
look
ships,
at some of
are
what's
they
coming
persistent
over the next
after
12
wipes?
months. In addition to what we've
Yeah,
shown, there'll
most of
be
the time,
new
yeah.
mission packs.
Sometimes you
That's a
lose
good
it.
question.
People's Alliance and their struggles.
I guess,
There'll
do
be
they become
events that
account
invest
bound
you
is
into the
my
evolving
question.
storyline of
That's a
all
good
these
You're not
question.
gonna see them in your hangar,
And of
your
course,
like
when
website
we begin
hangar,
populating these with new
but
planets, there'll be a
you
whole host of
you should
ground-based
keep them.
POIs,
They're
settlements, and
technically
structures
account bound.
inhabited by those trying to make their way in the verse. And all of this in service of building star systems that complement the massive corporate yard of Stanton, the lawless ganking of Pyro, and now the new frontier of discovery for the Nyx system. Shall I say ganking?
You already did.
Yeah, we like ganking.
Good job, everyone. So yeah,
Be
a
right
whole lot
back.
to take in there.
Group of
Interstellar
gankers.
hauling is the beginning of a massive expansion to the mission system that'll let us connect these 3-star systems like never before. What else we got? Rockcracker. Rockcracker is just one of the next operations that'll be coming to the Nyx system in the first half of next year, where you're gonna fly into an asteroid and do that thing that miners love more than anything.
Next year?
Complain
Ew.
about PvPers getting in their way. No, I'm being told it's mining. It's mining. And of course, one of the most anticipated features coming to Star Citizen, Genesis, and what that means for the planets of Star Citizen, including the ones already in there. So let's talk to Will Hain and find out more. And I'm just remembering that Will Hain is in France at the watch party. Okay, France. Ask Slarty Bartfast over there how they're going to use Genesis to update the planets and moons of Stanton and get back to me, all right? And see if we can get some fjords. What else we got? The CiTCON Digital Goodies Pack. That's a hard thing to say. That went up for sale a couple weeks ago and has a whole bunch of mysterious items in it. And that's where I can tell you now that almost all of them are tied to the Nyx system in one way or another. So let's find out what's actually in there. There's a gunship flight suit and helmet. 2 armor sets from that mysterious faction causing a ruckus with the Vandal, an Intersect BDU sweater and outfit, a couple of crazy weapons that I'm certain we're going to learn about in just a few minutes, some slick Levski swag, and finally, to celebrate the long-awaited addition of the Vandal to Star Citizen, a cool Vandal knife and adorable plushie, which I swear to love and squeeze and cherish forever. So yeah,
I'm so glad I got the
pretty
plushie.
solid haul for this year's digital
got
goodies
some
pack,
good
which you can
stuff.
still pick up right now.
The
on
eyes are so
Xbox
big.
Store. So
Two-
now, let's
oh
go
yeah,
ahead
2
and
new
transition
guns.
into our next segment. Much of what you see in the show today has been the culmination of a lot of people's work in... What's up? All right, I had a dream about like this once. Yeah. Okay, so against everyone's better judgment, the thing has finally happened.
That is
Can I help you?
my new favorite armor.
How you think
Space
it goes?
AK.
Good. We're getting the Nyx star system and the Vandal are coming.
Kind of been a lot of Nyx, right?
Well, yeah, but it's a major milestone and it deserves a major showcase celebrating everybody's hard work. And
You got more, right?
well, yeah, there's spaceships coming out.
Cool.
Wow, it's like they only scan the original
And
community portion
crew
of me.
content.
Pictures steal your soul. Imagine what face scanning and PCAP does.
Come on, social revamp.
this has been
Let's
super
do
cringe.
it. Come on, you can do it.
Org content. Come on, actual in-game orgs, please.
Oh, regular CitizenCon is still better. You should have done that. Of course. Thank you. Part of me that isn't a soulless marketing puppet. All right. No. 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 Let's just go to some spaceships, shall we?
Hi, my name's John.
I'm for the money grabs.
Director here at CIG.
That fucking fuckhead.
Ship, where we're going to talk about 3 new ships coming to the Pacific.
I do like the armor. It kind of looks like a Horizon Zero Dawn, but like
It
with a little
looks,
bit more
yeah.
space armor.
Totally looks like it. But I love the
Talking
plushie.
ship? What?
The last year has been pretty hectic.
Oh,
in terms of
talking
deliveries.
about.
I think we've
Damn it!
delivered the most we've ever done in a 12-month period. And
Thought they were gonna
we've
add
covered all
like
the way from tiny little
talking
snubs all the way
computers
up to
in the
capital ships.
ships.
We've kind of
So
filled out
stupid
a
of
few
me.
little gaps. We've introduced some new ships.
They all really talk to
from
you.
all manufacturers.
Yeah, but imagine if you could talk to them.
People have enjoyed playing with that.
Oh my, a Polaris. An Idris now.
For a while, and
We're gonna die.
It's nice to start revisit some of the older catalog and some of the bigger ships again.
I think my favourite ship from the last year is a tie between the Wolf and the Golem.
Favorite ship in the last year?
Ballistic Idris? Yeah, sure. Nobody builds it like that.
Else, but I really like the Wolf.
Everyone's mentioning the Wolf. The Wolf's everyone's favourite.
The Wolf, obviously, a return of Kruger, a completely new
Meh.
aesthetic to the game.
The Wolf was, it was kind of everything we set it out to be, and it revived an old manufacturer. We've not seen anything from a while, so yeah, I'm going to say the Wolf.
The Golem, I think, is just an incredibly well-formed ship in such a small package. It really just shows off that Drake aesthetic, giving you the absolute bare minimum needed to perform a role.
I honestly do really like the Zeus. I think it came out really well. It's kind of hard to pin down a favourite, to be honest, because we've released, a lot of really cool ships.
I'll put a little
Kinda wish the
respect
wings
on
were lower.
Zeus's name.
Coming up, we're ticking off a few big ones, which is good. We're going to see again maybe some ships from some manufacturers that don't have that many in their lineup. There's a few big challenging ones starting. So they're good. A breadth of ships, should we say?
The 3 new ships we're going to introduce today all tie in some way to the primary factions fighting over the Nyx system. We'll start with the People's Alliance and Anvil Aerospace.
Did he say adding
Anvil
today?
Is a very military-based brand. It's been a brand that's
I
been
think
Star Citizen for a long time.
they're just going to introduce
fighting
it
for lots of
to the
military
CiTCON.
contracts in law, often up against Aegis, and to the point it actually beat Aegis in the past. You will be familiar with a lot of their ships' designs, such as the Hornet and Lightning. Earlier this year, we
Yeah, the
introduced
Lightning,
Anvil
that's the
Asgard,
one I
based on
want
the
so
Valkyrie
bad.
chassis, which is an extremely popular offering. And this year, we're bringing the concept ship we introduced last year, the Anvil Paladin, to life. The Paladin is a gunship from Anvil Aerospace designed to support ground operations.
A gunship is a ship that's designed to stay in a sustained firefight while dealing a lot of damage, also taking damage.
We don't have a lot of
Paladin.
the true dedicated gunships. They are quite a
There's so
tricky
many
archetype
gunships
to
already. How do you get
control in
excited
game
for the
without being
Paladin?
too
Really?
powerful. It's designed with a lot of firepower.
Same as the Valkyrie.
High armor and health, but very
More
low
guns.
maneuverability.
It's multi-crew.
Valkyrie, more guns.
Just built purely for battle. It's got
Trade
lots of armor,
guns for cargo.
lots of guns, big guns.
It's got a very similar squat kind of form to the Valkyrie. It kind of reminds me of, I guess, like a pit bull. Obviously a very menacing silhouette.
It looks quite forward-weighted in its stance. It feels like it's coming towards you even when it's just sat still. And I think that's something that helps with it feeling intimidating.
If we swing round, following the ship round clockwise, what you'll end
The
up seeing
tankier
is
Redeemer,
first side
basically.
turrets.
Yeah, tanker Redeemer.
Notice the canopy, you'll see that there's a fairly thick space between where the glass is and the whole exterior. That's
And I'm
because it
sure
has
it'll be
the
great till
deployable
it's
armor,
nerfed.
which can come out and give you a little bit more cover while you're actually attacking the target head on.
It's got these really nice kind of dual connected wings with the turrets out on the sides just to try and give as much kind of range for those turrets as we can get.
Which is controlled by one of the 2 remote stations underneath the bridge. If we come around to the rear, you'll see a rail. Now that rail mounts the main turret of the ship, which is controlled by the co-pilot.
So you've got full 360 coverage underneath, full 360 coverage on top with it, and then the side turrets also have 360 coverage that way around and 180 outside.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Really,
I'll give
you
him
have
that.
between the turrets, pretty much 360 coverage in all directions.
Yeah, but I think no guns for the pilot,
The
apparently.
things about the Paladin is all the turrets are remote and all the crew are located in this one central 2-story room.
A lot of our other gunships, the crew gets scattered across the ship, but with the Paladin, you're all sat together with a nice, cool experience, so you can really feel like you're playing as a group.
That's kind of dope.
You've got
Like
the
that.
pilot, co-pilot up top, and you've got the gunners underneath, and I think that helps with the intention of what the ship does, because you've got this really nice kind of like gunner viewpoint down, kind of giving this lower coverage.
We added a glass floor just to keep the 2 connected. I think that really helps with the feeling that you're all working together and communicating.
That said, if you don't have the ability to fully crew a Paladin, you can still fly it and engage in combat solo.
Obviously not as good as if you have a full crew, but you can't always guarantee your friends are going to be online.
As a solo ship, it's
Yell at
pretty
your
capable
teammate
of
that
doing
doesn't
a
hit their shots.
variety of missions within Star Citizen. So if you want to run this ship solo, you can take on combat missions that, say, other heavy fighters like the Scorpius or other ships such as the Drake Cutlass could do.
Okay. Looks interesting.
Coming aboard the Paladin, you enter into
Yeah, so the remote turrets are
ready room area.
slave
You
to the
have
pilot,
a
I'm guessing.
variety of suit lockers and weapon racks in this room.
Everything's very militaristic, stripped back, simple. It's a very functional space, but you'll find everything you need in there.
One of the improvements from the original concept is we've added a small dedicated cargo bay area, allowing you to store actual SCU crates. Forward of that is the route to the lower gunners, and then upstairs you have the bridge area, and then off that central area you have the dual living quarters, one on the left, one on the right,
Okay.
and then at the rear you have the main sort of
Okay, a little
engineering
respect,
area
a
where
little
the
bit of
majority of the
respect.
components are. Also within the upper traversal area you also have a little breakout area with seating, food machine, toilets, etc.
I think it's a very cool looking ship. I think we did a really nice job of taking what was there in the concept.
It looks mean.
and
It looks
then
mean
further
as hell.
Trying to kind of push things forward.
I think it hits the nail in terms of a really solid military ship. It's really complementary to some of the other ships in the Anvil lineup. So something like the Valkyrie, where you've got this big drop ship. You know, the Paladin's there just to make sure it's safe, make sure no one messes with you, and just basically scare people away.
The thing I like most, I think, about the Paladin is that it's very clearly got a crew of 4, and they all kind of work and operate under the same conditions. You know, the pilot, co-pilot, and the 2 gunners, they're basically all equal on the ship. There's 1 toilet, everyone's got the same style of bunk. When they're at work, everyone's at the front of the ship together.
It's really odd to me that you call that, you like that there's 1 toilet for 4 people.
Well, you know, it's you all work together. You're all equal at work. You're
The toilet seat never gets cold.
Toilet seat never gets cold. Yeah.
So that's the Anvil Paladin. Whilst originally a military-built craft, it's the perfect ship for folks on the frontier trying to defend against threats. And talking of threats, let's move to our next ship, a replica from Hesperia.
I've been disconnected.
Hesperia are a high-end manufacturer. They specialize in recreating exotic and particularly alien spacecraft.
Effectively what they're doing is they're remanufacturing them, making them a little bit more suitable for kind of human flight. And the latest offering from Hesperia is the Vandal Stinger.
The Vandal are big, scary space aliens. They're like 7-foot-tall, evil war race that sort of take over, steal technology, absorb it, fuse it all together into their own means.
They are the relatively nasty aliens that you sometimes hear about and haven't seen much of yet. They also make really cool spaceships.
The Stinger as a Vandal heavy fighter was reserved for their higher tier sort of ace pilots or high-ranking members within their clans.
The Stinger is a competitor to something like the FA or I guess the Scorpius.
It packs a lot of firepower in quite a large frame, so it's a very, very tanky spacecraft. The firepower is almost unrivaled in terms of just both the number and the size of them. So it's there for players who don't want agility. They don't want to be in and out quickly. They want to be there brawling with big guns and taking all the hits. One thing Hesperia have done differently with the Stinger is they have done away with the majority of the bespoke weapons.
They heard
Looks pretty
everyone's
cool.
complaints about the glaive and blade and have stripped off the original Vandal weapons to allow customization for standard human weapons.
With the exception of the single-size 5-gun.
Because it was too well integrated into the hull, even for Hesperia to remove.
All the additional weapons are generic mounts, so they can be swapped with any of the existing lineup that we have in the game. By doing this, it provides greater flexibility to the end user, and this is something Hesperia wanted for the civilian market. For that one bespoke weapon, the size 5 plasma cannon, functionally it is the same as the existing size 5 plasma cannons on the Scythe and Glaive, but it is a sort of Gen 2 model and wraps it in a different aesthetic compared to those models. You'll see they're very much older Vandal styling. This is much newer Vandal styling, but underneath it is the same weapon that people have used for years.
Our job as the vehicle art team on the PU was to take the Stinger from the squadron team and prepare it for life in the PU. We took an opportunity to take, you know, this really well-established art style and, you know, add extra details where
Welcome
needed.
back,
So the exterior is a real blend of these kind of hard surface, kind of rare alloy.
Thank you, Admiral.
Wings, and then underneath this real kind of organic structure that kind of webs all of the ship together. You know, it connects the thrusters in, it connects all the kind of underside of the vehicle and pulls the whole ship together.
You can tell it's very different from the Vandal ships that are currently in the PU. If you take, for example, the way the cockpits are constructed.
Up at the front, we've got this big kind of bubble dome that gives the cockpit quite a unique shape compared to some of our other ships, and also gives the pilot a unique position within the ship and kind of gives great visibility out the front.
Boarding the Stinger is a little unusual compared to other ships, obviously being alien in nature.
You're going through a ramp at the rear, and it leads you kind of straight up into the belly of the ship.
There's, you know, lots of organic detail, rib cages.
That's mean. That's really mean. Look at this.
Paladin's in the store now.
The seat kind of comes down towards you, and you kind of climb over the back of it a bit like a motorbike.
You're basically
How much?
riding into the cockpit. It feels very much like you're being like carried
I
inside
do not
the
know.
cockpit.
Into the traditional prone flying pose that Vandal pilots use.
very happy with the Stinger. I think the team done a really good job of making something that
Raz,
feels
if
different.
you're watching,
it feels alien,
how much?
But it suits our lineup of ships and it suits our universe.
I think the guys did a really good job of respecting the, the direction and vision from the original Stinger and Vandal ships in Squadron.
We've tried to take a lot of inspiration from movies and other science fiction material, but I think it sits well within the Star Citizen universe.
So we have the Paladin for the People's Alliance. We have the Stinger for people that really like Vandal and want to try and pretend to be them. But what about the other mysterious faction we have running around?
So Gray Chowdhury got his start as he was working at a cargo center out in Odin.
Okay, now this is what I want to
get his hands on some stuff that other people
315 for the Paladin, Stinger 350 for the Paladin.
Find on a store shelf, but you want it anyway.
I think Gray is interested in, happy customers. Gray just sees
we'll go play with
themselves
one
as a
here in just a
conduit
minute.
to get these things in the hands of people who are would appreciate them.
And I think that his latest offering is really going to turn some heads.
What about the Idris? Any sign of
The
it?
Shiv, well, we don't really know what it is, if I'm, to be fair.
I don't see that in the upgrade
Someone
option.
who is a genius at aeronautics and ship assembly is given free rein to do whatever they want. It's the best of whatever they can find lying around, put together to make something truly unique, wonderful, arguably beautiful, and just released out into the universe to see what happens.
At first glance at the exterior of the Shiv,
What
I
is
think
this?
most people will probably recognize there is more than a fair proportion of a cutlass visible there, but it's had quite a few changes to it.
I don't know what it is, but I have to have
Pick out elements from other ships.
Someone called it the cutlass.
From the Valkyrie.
Units that are obviously a cutlass have had
Ooh.
panels welded on, panels removed. The top turret, which is now remote, is
It looks kinda nice.
hodgepodge amalgamation with multiple other ships' turrets. And then the changes continue onto the inside, where again, it sort of feels cutlass-like, but then you'll find there's bits of Crusader ships just integrated into the wall instead of what was there originally.
It has lost its side entrance, some of its cargo capacity, but what it's gained is it's gained visually more powerful thrusters. It's gained a really kind of nice set of belly thrusters. It's upped its firepower.
As ever with the refined work from Gray's Market, you can see that great care was taken to the health and safety to ensure that there's no trip hazards anywhere.
There's like loose cables, panels are exposed. If you look carefully, you'll notice there are like tools laying around in the cockpit.
It's gained a toilet. Bucket.
I must have this ship.
Yeah, it's one for doing stuff, and then you need a second one to wash your hands. It's not an animal.
It has very much taken that ethos of Drake and moved it down a level, which I think is quite an achievement.
Just look at this thing. How do
Six
you
guns?
describe the madness that
That's
created
crazy.
this? It's the Shiv.
This is something new and different for Star Citizen. Where did it come from?
I'm not going to answer that.
Just
Nope.
nothing. Just
No comment.
Gray goes to places and talks to people. I mean, there are just many ways to find these things that, are they legitimate, manufacturers? No. Are they operating on the right side of the law? Maybe not, but, money's money.
Does Gray have a motto, an ethos to live by?
It probably comes down to, don't ask where I got it.
Don't ask how we got it.
Don't worry about it. Just ask if you want it.
I think the Shiv is for someone that is looking for something a bit different, a bit away from the norm, that just wants something that's unique.
It's definitely for people who like a rustic aesthetic.
It's a fun ship, but it's also really strong, to be honest, and it's absolutely a statement.
I'm happy with the 3 ship offerings. They are obviously very combat heavy.
There's something we wouldn't normally release all at once, but honestly, all of them are a different statement and they're all cool.
As always, super excited to release these ships into the game and just see how players react and play with them. It's always fun to see the quirks and the shenanigans that people get up to with them. So that's Talking Ship for another year. That's it.
Yeah, you can do the thing with Lexi. Talking weapons.
So I've just been informed that we have to do a bit of a timeshare agreement this year, so we have to throw it over to Alexi for Talking Weapons, which is an extremely original name.
I'm talking about the new edition that come out in October. The non-weapons are essentially the weapons
No
that does not have a
Perseus.
manufacturer, the weapons that you can
No
think of
Perseus.
that were made by space pirates.
Gray sells whatever he can sell.
Sometimes he gets his hands on some weapons that come from unknown origins.
He will sell things that no company in their right mind would ever make.
These are the most kind of like scrappy and taped together and the most kind of like pyro-ish weapons that you can think of.
Right now we're releasing 3 new weapons. Rocket launcher, the LMG, and the long-awaited Space AK.
I think this is the one that not only is
Okay, so Star Citizen's finally starting to appeal to my
basic
basic
rifle
sense.
that basically fires energy and ballistic in sequence. So your first shot,
Space AK.
your ballistic, your
I
second
love
shot
that they're getting away from the clean
see
and
on top
proper
of the arm,
stuff.
There is a bolt that cycles the rounds, and that goes off with the ballistic shot, but it does not go off with the energy shot. And that is just like a really fun way of making a weapon work in kind of like a scrappy, glued together kind of aesthetic.
It's floating.
The LMG, this thing is a really fun, slow firing.
Yes, I absolutely am going to buy that.
It will bring the 50 cal, and the only other weapon.
I just bought it. It's life insurance, so
Sniper rifle and the
Which one did you buy?
Honestly, if
I bought a
you
shiv.
even get hit by one, you just instant tier 1 injury, back to medical.
Which one was the shiv?
The cutlass.
The one you liked, the cutlass anvil bucket shithole.
How much is it?
Guns, and some people are just
150.
120, 135 war bond.
Oh, I'm buying it.
You can possibly find.
You can probably get it
You'll
in
have
game.
a rocket launcher of this caliber. It will be 3 grenades straight together that you
I bought it for the
put
lifetime
into
insurance.
The tube and fire towards your enemies.
What kind of ghetto ass rocket launcher?
You'll have an arming distance, so you know just point it towards an enemy.
It's also going to have a lot of spread. So
What the fuck
essentially,
is that?
You're going to have to get very close with your launcher to
Damn.
blow up ships with a single payload in it. You can't actually aim with the apparatus because you've got the tube on your shoulder and you try to aim it, you have to physically put the tube in your head. So we were like, oh, we can't have an aiming apparatus for this. And then we realized like, it's in the spirit of being a tube that you can't use the aiming apparatus and you just kind of like, all right, I think that's the middle of the screen, I'm gonna hit it.
It's in the spirit of being a tube.
That's kind of dope.
Are we gonna talk about binoculars? Binoculars are really cool. We don't have anything like this in the bursts, and I think it will be really convenient to use something that's dedicated to look for the things.
Binoculars.
especially far away, instead of using your sniper scope, for example.
Will the binoculars have glint?
I'm not aware of this one.
Not
Probably
terribly,
not,
son. Not terribly.
Because binoculars are not
mean,
something that you need to be.
How far are you gonna really be able to
It's really
see?
funny because obviously, due to glint gate, as you know, I beautifully internally call it, basically there was a lot.
Oh, you hold an F and scrolling, you can see pretty far alone. I mean, is it gonna be
like playing a spotter.
more than that?
And
It's gotta
essentially,
be,
I was
right?
like, oh, this community wants to be able to spot people from
Good
distances.
question.
And what can we make gadget-wise that doesn't require new features? And it was like binoculars. And I prototyped a thing which essentially.
They better have a separate slot for that, though. They can't just have that taking up space in your backpack.
Does that answer your question?
From distances.
Oh, night vision.
I missed it.
How much damage do the binoculars?
Oh, night vision. That's
Depends on
cool.
how you throw them.
It's still like what's gonna be the storage? Is it gonna be like a slot?
I wanna listen.
Binoculars? Is it?
He's talking about it right now.
That's the end of this segment for this year. So that's talking ship and weapons, unless anyone else is going to come and tell me something else. It's been an exciting year, and I think the next year of ships is going to be even more
You didn't talk
exciting
about it.
and
Sorry, B.
expansive
Like
than
you
this year.
didn't.
It was Geek's fault.
Yeah, I told him to stop talking about it. It's giving away too much information.
This fucking guy.
That
So
is
far,
an
I'm
eclectic
mildly
bunch of
impressed.
combat ships for the verse.
I
They're
wouldn't be
all
surprised if
available
it's in the
right now
pistols
up on the
slot.
DragonSpaceIndustries.com store. Also, any minute now, there's going to be a PTU drop that includes all three, so you can fly them now ahead of their release next week when Alpha 432 goes live. 3 combat ships. I wonder if they'll have any additional uses coming up later in the show. That's a hint. All right, what else can I shill? Oh, there's merch. We've got these cool new Levski desk mat things. These are always popular.
I could use one of those.
Levski metal posters on the store, and of course, love them or hate them, but you can't avoid them. There's this cool new Wickelow's Emporium t-shirt.
Not yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
I need to buy one to burn it.
There's also a page published earlier today with a bunch of links to offerings from our third-party partners, from eye trackers to gaming chairs to voice packs to spaceship models from new partners like Planet Ring and Pigeon Spaceport and more. You can find all of that on the RSI website as well. And what else can I shill? Oh, for those of you who are at watch parties, where is it? Challenge coins. Who doesn't love challenge coins? There's these lovely Levski themed challenge coins if you're attending one of the 9 official watch parties around the world. There's also a digital one of these in the goodies pack, so you check those out. Don't leave today without getting your Levski challenge coin. All right, what else can I shill? Now I'm kind of tired of shilling. All right, let's find out some more about where we are. Simon, can we move? Can we do? Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay, here we go. Pardon me. Here we go, excuse me. Hi, how you doing? Hey, that was my best angle. Hey, I gotta be careful. Last year I took 3 steps and tore a muscle. All right, so this is the 9th floor of CIG Manchester's Manchester office. That's you. This is the room where we have lunch every day, and if you get here early enough, croissants, if the weapons team hasn't stolen all of them. Over here, we got some cool mannequins representing different aspects of the game. You got the ever-present, Hurston security armor over here. That's really cool. You got your Dusters armor right here. You got this guy from a game that we're not talking about today. Marine armor, yeah, it's all pretty cool. And then when you come over here, got a nice little recreation area. There's some sim pits over there for people who need to test that kind of stuff.
Give me one.
Krigeri, Bengal carrier. Come over here, shoot it. Go down the nose here. Watch this. Very cool. I'm gonna go over here. Can you see me? Hi, Mom. All right. So yeah, and what are you doing, Richard Towler? All right. I thought John went to Washington, D.C. Let's see, what else we got? We got this.
Imagine walking that.
Bar here. This is where we get all kinds of breakfast
so
goodies,
cool.
coffee, stuff like that. Hey, who remembers the big coffee controversy of 2016, where everybody took to Reddit and pondered the question, do devs deserve coffee? I do. You want to see what next year's big controversy is? Check this out. I'm gonna come over here. Do devs deserve coffee? Welcome to the Stargarita machine. Yeah.
I want one.
Do devs deserve frozen deliciousness? I don't know. Go to Reddit and let us know. All right, let's see. Let's go over here. Competition. Oh, competition winners. We have the list of competition winners. Can we put that on the screen? Yeah, sorry, competition winners. Remember the competition for the CiTCON winners? The people made the videos, and we gave them a Kruger L21 Wolf. We actually have the names. They're behind me. Look. Oh. All right, that's cool. Also, everybody's got food. Do I have food here? Oh, somebody's supposed to save me pizza. All right, so we got. Oh, you guys saved me a lot of pizza. Let's see. There's like 3 different kinds of pizza here. What if we just combine them into like a challenger situation here?
What is this part about?
Sitting on Throwback, if you're not familiar with it.
I
Pizza.
don't
I have
honestly
now
know.
crafted my own pizza experience. And that is a terrible segue into
I'm
our
stuck.
next segment.
Hey.
Gemma, can we, Gemma, are you there?
Yes, Jared.
Can we fire up the FPS crafting segment while I try to chew this off camera?
We sure can. Roll, BT.
Star Citizen, at its heart, will always be an enormous sandbox experience where you can set out to tackle the universe in whatever ways you want. But that doesn't mean we can't shape parts of the universe here and there to better suit our needs. That goes for both you and us. Let's start this part of the show with a look at how crafting is going to change everything from resource gathering, refining, and even combat when it comes online in the next few months.
First version of crafting is going to be quite small in scale. We're going to use it as a kind of a concentrated effort to allow the players to experience the initial UI, the flow of gathering materials of different quality, and using those to craft items which are better than what they have currently in the game.
The first version is going to be primarily FPS items that you can craft, weapons and armor. For Star Citizen, crafting is our primary progression mechanic. Star Citizen isn't your standard MMO. We don't have levels. We have ships, we have gear, we have things that you create in the world, you perfect, you research, you improve, and those items, those ships, those vehicles, the armor and weapons, that's how you progress in Star Citizen. Crafting isn't just a progression mechanic for creating new items, it's also a fundamental change to how we handle resources in the game. The materials that you collect, how you refine them, quality matters.
Crafting the weapons, you'll be able to have some quality materials to influence the item stats on those weapons.
It'll be somewhat random, potentially weighted on the location of the material. Some will have a higher chance of higher quality. And once you take those materials to your crafting bench, the fabricator, you can use them to craft, and the different attributes will be increased based on the quality of the materials you use. It's not just iron ore anymore, it's iron ore of the quality that you know will get you the stats for the item that you desire. And it's not just mining, it's essentially every resource we can get our hands on.
To support this, we also need major changes to inventory so that all of these new resources that you're collecting, you can see what you have, you can order it better, you can understand what you have.
Oh, it looks way better.
We won't have the new refining crafting system yet. We'll be using the existing ones. Those will pass the quality through into the refined materials, which you can then take to your crafting machine and start making your personal items. Once you have your blueprint and your quality materials that you've refined, then you can put them together on the item fabricator. This will be pretty much what we showed in last year's CiTCON, with the UI letting you assign your quality resources to different aspects of the item.
So this is like a really
Once you're happy with what you
complicated
see
way
on
to
the
make the
preview,
crafting
you'll be able to
bench
click to
in
craft,
Minecraft.
and it'll get queued up, and your result will be produced sometime later.
No, I did like the way the new inventory looks.
The new crafting machine from shops in most landing zones. You'll be able to bring it up on your freight elevator and use it in your personal hangar, or tractor beam it around and stick it on a ship if you want to use it from there.
Green vault gun.
Really cool.
There'll be a small amount of blueprints.
What about
you get
ships with
credited to your
fabricators already,
account
like the
just to
Carrack?
test and mess around, but the vast majority of them will be earned.
I think
through
that might be reserved for like the modular ships.
Use that blueprint to craft the item that it is that you've got the blueprint for. So it should be a good reason to go and test all the different various missions in the game.
The advantage of crafting your own items is that they'll be better than anything that you could buy from shops. You'll be able to increase and improve item stats that are relevant to your gameplay. Maybe a gun will shoot faster, maybe it'll do some more damage, or your armor will have greater resistances against environmental effects or incoming fire. You might be wondering, what about the upgrade and research? That will be coming in a subsequent release. We're happy with this initial scope for crafting.
It's going to be so valuable for us as devs to kind of get the metrics in, get the feedback in, because then we can make the changes that, you know, they only become obvious, so to speak, when you have kind of mass amounts of data and mass amounts of users using it. So I'm very excited to get it out in the wild.
It's our intention to get crafting out on tech preview by the end of the year and get the testing we need so we can release it when it's ready.
So that's one way you'll be crafting your own experiences in the Star Citizen universe. But what about us? Where do we get to hone in and craft a bespoke experience here and there, specifically tailored to individual or small group play? Well, that's where instancing comes in. And I'm going to let Benji tell you a little bit more.
We're bringing instancing to Star Citizen in 2026. Why are we doing it?
Don't like
and
that.
how will it work? So if you've played any content in 2025 in Star Citizen, you know that most of these areas were in actual PvP zones where other players could interfere. Instancing is a means to create an environment where designers can create tailored content that's tuned to a specific group size, but it is also protected from outside interference. It's not to say that we don't love PvP. I'm a PvP me, bro. But like most MMOs, a good balance between a dangerous overworld and a protected instances is needed. Right now, we don't have this ability, and this is something we really need in order to give you a sense of progression that is tailored and balanced to a tunable amount of groups, so the difficulty matches the group size. There's a beginning and an end. It doesn't mean that that doesn't fit in our overworld strategy, meaning getting to the instance is dangerous, exiting the instance is dangerous, or can be interfered with others. But at least when you're playing the content, we can actually make something that's curated for one experience. So before anybody says this is only a PvE thing, this technology can also be applied to unlock curated PvP experiences that are as seamless as the PvE ones. So it's not about one thing or the other. It's really about unlocking developers' ability to create curated content. So that said, how will it work? Instancing is really an evolution over static to dynamic meshing. We want your instances to be as seamless as your instance hangers.
We hear
Meaning that
you.
when you take
Welcome
an
to the
elevator,
live, my friend.
exit the elevator, you're inside the instance. A gateway opens,
Where do I see
you
the
cross
screen
that
you were
gateway, you're
talking
now
about?
into your instances. Could be
Should I
also
press on the
quantum
link?
into an instance
The
that you
extend
don't
it?
even see.
Yes.
The transition is
And
just
then I'm
like
watching
a
it.
dynamic mesh transition.
I
And
think
so throughout the universe, we will be able to add these areas that are open or closed instances that allow you to join in either with a party and have a reserved instance for your party, or join an open instances that has a number of slots. And so some of those areas
think
will
I
be
did a
completely
wrong
instanced
path.
on different servers. This allows us to leverage the compute power of the entire mesh. The closed ones will be really to drive one piece of content. You enter
It's the
and
YouTube
exit
stream.
seamlessly, just like we do with your instance hangers currently. Let's go and find out what one of our first
Huh?
instances will be.
I'll send you the link.
Siege of
Okay,
Origin
thank
was
you.
an event we did previously, which created a gameplay scenario
Yeah,
where the player had to run
I've
through
took
and
some time,
progress
you know.
through
I was hurt
contested
pretty bad
islands of
then.
Origin.
Now it's
This was a
better.
high-paced, high-intensity event,
After some
but it
painkillers.
struggled a little bit from its technical execution. But now with the introduction of instancing, it gives us an opportunity to evolve it and modify it and
Oh,
make
damn.
it better for you and a small group to work through that activity.
It is an event that I had the honor of pretty much solely designing and building all of the logic and having the stress of trying to get it working.
Agent Dooley from the CDF puts the call out for volunteers because basically the Nine Tails have taken over sort of a cluster of floating platforms in Orison.
And you are there to kill these sort of lieutenants of this terrorist organization and take back control. So in our current thinking, Siege of Orison is designed for about a 15 to 20 people fire team. So you, your friends, or your org will go in, you'll all have sort of dedicated roles. Some of you might be the tank who brings in the heavy weapons and sort of pulls the fire. Some of you might sit at the back and be the sniper and pick people off who are a bit further to make the advance easier. Some of you will be the medic who sole job is going to be revive and look after the rest of your team in the health.
Now, when are they going to add that
And,
little
some of you will be
that
the
little
people
slide
who push
in?
for the objectives to try and get sort of most of the mission done. The event was designed for
We
about
need
15 to 30 people, but when we released it, we fixed the problem.
Finally, fucking home.
2 DGSs on
Hello,
one server
Wild.
that was
Welcome to
fighting
the
for
live.
resources, and with that, we also upped the players to 100. So
Yeah, I've been watching it on my
first
phone, but I had to
period
leave the
was
house.
already too full for what it was
Or
designed
listening
for.
to it on my phone, I should
It was
say.
a massive operation at the time.
This is a joke.
That bringing it back and giving it a refresher will be a fantastic addition back into the PU.
So imagine if Siege was a instance that you could go in and play solo, or if it was a public event that you could go with your friends, or you could join up with random players on the server. There's lots of ways that we want to take a look at Siege, how we can make it a more approachable piece of content.
I'm excited, to say the least, to bring back Siege of Orison to Star Citizen and to sort of have it be one of the first
Is there a new gun?
for instancing and really get it back to sort of a core experience.
Yes,
where it
several.
should be. So while
Oh, nice. I love
the
that.
next season
Junior
is quite
guns,
heavily focused on
4
units,
new armors.
I'm also very happy that we're not really ignoring our other 2 systems of Standard and Pyro, and we're going back there and we're sort of improving and expanding on the player's life in those 2 systems as well.
Have I missed a lot?
Yeah, you've missed quite a
Yes.
bit, my friend.
And while
I'll
things
tell
like
you
Genesis,
about it all once they
interstellar
stop
hauling,
talking.
crafting, Siege of Orison,
Yeah, okay.
and more will reveal next
We
year,
have a little
will
round table
continue
discussion.
to bring life into the existing universe outside of Nyx. There's still one more exciting use for instancing we're building right now. It's an earlier look than normal, and some of it is still in white box, but we're excited to share the first look at a major content release of 2026 and what it means for progression-based gameplay. As an evolution of our Building Interior initiative, you won't discover it by accident, because when it's complete, it will be found deep within the heart of Levski itself. This is the Municipal Works. So inside the facility, you'll find huge vaporization chambers, old processing plants, industrial tunnels, and eventually into the old turbines, which are still pumping heat into the old rock.
So this is the true history of Levski. This is a place where you won't see in Lorville, you won't see Night 18 or the other landing zone. It's the pure basis of Levski. You will have, of course, metal and tunnels and more structural place, but you will also see a lot of rock and cave. So it's not a place you go to take vacation. It's really a place you go to fix stuff.
Not everybody has what it takes to come down there and do the job that needs to be done.
All of your sewage systems have stopped working. Everything's going to quite literally. And so the player is tasked with their group, most likely, to go into there, take out the outlaws, and get the facility working again.
So let me get this straight. This is literally a mission to fix the toilets of Levski.
It's not just the toilets. You're also trying to turn on the air. Air is a bit more important. It still works in Levski, but they have maybe polluted air because it's not being cleared properly. It's not just for the toilet.
Poop mission.
It's also a little bit more exciting than just going into some vents. It's like a free
I like that
reign
idea a
system where
lot.
there's 3 chapters.
This will be mission-driven and repeatable. Everything from mining to salvage to combat to investigation, a variety of roles. Narratively, it's a real sandbox. Every progression you do will unlock a new area that will link back to previous areas, complexifying the play space.
We've been wanting to have more gameplay
interesting.
around landing zones for a long time. Now that we have instancing tech coming online, that allows us to do something that provides really cool gameplay close to a landing zone.
With the missions, that's what will create different overlays or change the spaces or change the progression, but it'll be the instancing which will enable us to create tailored content to you and your group. So you're going to be able to play a part of it, make your progress, and then log off. And then the next time you come online, you'll be able to pick up where you left off.
It's going to allow players to return back to it at different states depending on how much you've progressed, and be able to keep it going until you've reached sort of the end of the whole 3 chapters.
Where you're not going to have other people getting in your way. It's you, your team, your party.
It's a way of giving players content where they know exactly where they're at, and they can keep going back to it and improving sort of their own progress and ability to jump through them faster and faster times as well.
So that's a look at how we'll be allowing players and developers alike to create more crafted experiences within the greater sandbox of the persistent universe. Okay, is that it for me at this point, Jared?
Almost. Throw it back to me, and I've got one more for you after this.
Back to you, Jared.
Everybody's really excited about the year ahead. So that's a brief look at some of the ways in which we're allowing you and our developers to craft a more curated Star Citizen experience. Now, at this point in the show, we are in the home stretch. We've got only one more segment to go. But before we do that, we wanted to check out, we said earlier in the show that we would look at what you were saying during the show. We looked at how to put YouTube comments on the stream, and it was immediately apparent that we were going to lose our broadcast license, so we're not going to do that. We did find some social media stuff on Twitch, though, or not Twitter, X. What is it called now? Let's see what this says. Let's see. We've got Welcome Back Levski from, I'm not wearing my glasses. Oh, no. Oh, time to suit up. Let's go get them, says Ubu. I really should have worn my glasses. Cue the bagpipes. That's the other game, Charlie Oscar. Let's see. Nice to see you live, Jared. Mom? Let's see. First CitizenCon after playing for almost a decade in Austin. Oh, nice. Straight out of Klesher, back to the Hex. Photos from Leicestershire. How do you say it? Is that Leicestershire? Leicester? Leicester? I've only been in the UK for 3.5 years. San Jose Bar Citizen Watch Party. Oh, somebody created a lovely Vandal mask there. Sean Tracy, can we get that in game? Just that, exactly. Just scan that.
I have very, very mixed emotions.
All right, so that's a few reactions we're seeing on social media right now.
CitizenCon.
Before we get to our big finale, or the thing we're going to wrap up the show with today, I did want to talk a little bit about big CitizenCon versus digital CitizenCon versus what we're doing today, which is CitizenCon Direct. Every year, CitizenCon is a monumental task for any number of people, whether that's development, marketing, the support teams, the platform teams. Everybody comes together to make this thing happen and go off, hopefully without a hitch. And so far, we've been doing all right, other than some stuff in the room here. You know who you are. They had to know. But doing CitizenCon is not always the easiest thing for our developers. You might not assume this, but most game developers are not social butterflies. They tend to like to sit quietly in the dark at their computers, like little goblins, and just make digital virtual worlds.
We may
like
be
this.
sitting in the dark,
And
but
then
we're not
I come
alone.
in all happy and like, hey, you want to be on video? And they're like, no.
So goblins.
And I'm like, it's in your contract. And they're like, oh yeah. So we thought, we usually do it behind the scenes afterwards, but we thought we'd do a little bit of it here. The folks in the editorial department put together a brief montage.
Yo, I've joined from my iPad, man. I watch it while lying in my bed.
Spend 2 minutes and take a look at that. Let's see what they put together. How many CitizenCons have you performed in now?
Performed? Just the one. Nope, my first one.
One last year.
2. A few. 8.
Because we have to constantly hire new employees.
Man, I don't know, man.
Did you like doing it?
Yes, I was
Constantly, over and
terrified.
over.
It was good. Bit stressful.
The first live one, I was a mess.
Weird combination of going from insane highs to
Kind of
insane
hard to have
lows.
one consistent vision from start to finish if you change the...
live ones are pretty special.
Pre-sep's always fun, but the live events are special, aren't they?
Remember when we were at that weird crack house in Anco's?
Right.
I like the live ones. Oh, I mean, I love these.
Yeah, I wanna ask real quick. While watching, I want to cut TikTok. Do you think it's smart to make like a horror-themed Star Citizen TikTok for Halloween?
Didn't know if I was going to be sick if I was
I
going
would.
to lose my stomach.
How hard is it to keep your eyes open on stage?
Yeah,
That's
well,
not a problem with the lights.
and we'll go eat.
Through this sentence that I'm closing my eyes as I speak. Do I do that a lot?
I am a very shy individual, so this is me just trying to get out of my shell.
Getting the crowd
Has she
to react
talked
to
at
the
all
ideas
during
that we've been
this?
working on for so long.
We can react.
No.
Watch. Everybody. Yay!
Hey, look, we have a woman on the team too. See, we didn't let her say anything, but we have one.
Counting you down in like you've got 30
Correct.
seconds. I'm like, do I stand up? Do I sit down? Do I drink? Do I not? Do I talk?
This will be the best one yet. That's right. Because it's nice and short.
Is this all supposed to be usable content? Because I could be different.
No. Of all your nicknames, why is Moistmaster your favorite?
I think you mean least favorite, and because it has the word moist in it. I mean, come on.
We'll give
The
you a
dude
new
looks
nickname.
moist.
Sounds good. Could do
All
with
right.
one.
Let's get started.
We need a moist master of our own.
So for those of you watching at home or at the watch parties, you're like,
You know what?
why are
That's a
we showing
perfect
that?
name for Geekus.
I put that
Geekus,
in
you're
there
now our
because
moist
I'm
master.
eternally grateful for all of the CIG
I'm the what master? Moist master?
You're the moist master.
whether it's ISC,
Oh, what a fucking name.
That's one of those names like calling the big guy tiny. It conveys the opposite.
If I can speak for them in this regard, I
You
want
know.
to say thank you for participating in these things each and every year that we have them. Now, let's wrap things up here. So, let's see, how do I want to do this? At this point, we've only got one major story left to tell.
Bring on the
Before we do
wetness,
that,
baby.
We wanted to do
Base building.
one more
Nothing but drop panties around you, boy.
Base building was not coming tonight, brother.
When a panties
one can
drop, it
hope.
starts to rain.
Roadmap to 1.0. And we didn't want to go an entire year without talking to the senior game director himself.
The only thing I'm sad about is that they didn't release the Perseus, but I wasn't expecting anything else.
And when we come back, we'll say our goodbyes. And if you're at a watch party, it's time to get. I was going to say that's not a word I can say on camera. Let's just go. Let's just throw it back to me. Go to me from 1 week ago. Last year, Senior Game Director Rich Tyrer took to the stage and revealed our plan for 1.0. Now, before we
Yikes.
end this year's CiTCON,
And he was full of
we're gonna
shit.
Take a few moments and follow up on that reveal from last year to do as we've done today and look at the year ahead. So, Rich, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Well, you're welcome.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it. Everybody knows the only constant in game development is change. So I'm going to ask you outright, what's changed about the road to 1.0?
Well, fortunately, nothing. It still remains our North Star. The team is busy working towards that goal in the background, and every patch this year has moved us towards that goal. And if you haven't watched the Star Citizen 1.0 presentation from last year, I highly recommend you do so, because everything in it is still relevant as of today.
You mentioned every patch this year has moved us towards that goal, so I want to dig deeper into that. We've done, at this point, 9 releases in this year, more than any year prior. How does each one of these not just sit as their own moment in time, but move us forward on this road to 1.0?
Well, last year I discussed the framework of 1.0, how all those complex systems can tie together. And one of the core aspects of that was the main story, which became the spine of the universe, which brought all of the locations, mission givers, guilds, and all the different areas of the game to the players. Now, what I didn't talk about from last year was all of the content that was going to support that framework, add the flesh to the bones, should we say. And I think that's where this year has moved us towards that goal. If you think about previous events of previous years, they've generally been locations that we've put into the verse, but they've been transient. We've taken them away, like Siege of Orison or Zenithreat. We've added them to game, and then they've been moved away. And I think with the addition of the patches this year, when you look at the Hathor facilities, Onyx facility, these are permanent additions to the world that not only have their own story, as when we release them with the patches, but they'll also become points of interest and areas that the larger 1.0 narrative will utilize.
Since we're on story, I'm going to stay with this here. Since we launched the PU back in 2015, it's always been this sandbox where players can do what they want. They can bring their own story to the verse, and that'll never change. But how important is it that we also build this concurrent narrative of our own, this crafted experience, if you will, alongside that?
Well, we're trying to create a living, breathing universe. And that includes both the player stories that you mentioned, that they can go and enjoy and create their own memories together. But it also means that we want to have a universe that gives back. We want areas and locations to feel like they're believable and real life locations. And if you look throughout this year and the patches that we've worked towards, we've had an overarching story that's moved from patch to patch, and we're going through some of those cycles right now. We've also been introducing mission content that has fully voiced dialogue and facial animation, which allows us to inject some of the meaning and the why to what you are doing as a player. And I think story is integral to Star Citizen as a connective tissue that ties all of these different complex systems together, because it takes players on that journey throughout the game.
To see this big turn this year to start injecting story into the verse, I think people are really responding to it. So everybody knows, and you mentioned just now, that this year we changed a whole lot about how we operate and how we release things. How do you think that's gone?
I think it's gone very well. I think if the mantra that I've always been pushing this year at the beginning of January was patch always goes. And I think this year has seen a different development strategy for how we've been moving the game forward. That's where this different strategy has allowed us to really take a wider approach. And we also have to remember that Star Citizen is played by tens of thousands of players every day. And while we have lofty future goals, we still have to make decisions right now that make the game fun for the people that are playing it all the time, playing it as their daily game. If you look at previous years, we've had to hold a patch back, we've had to make concessions, mainly due to around a feature may not been ready or right to go into there.
There were 3 months,
Hello.
4 months, sometimes 5
Hello,
months.
Smokey. Welcome to the live
I
watch
don't think
party.
that's good for anybody. I don't think it's good for the players.
Hey guys.
I don't think it's good for the development team. I think it's better to have regular cadence of drops. One good example is this year for A Line of Mine. People probably don't know, but A Line of Mine, when you turned on the laser, it was actually supposed to reveal the sandworm Valakar. And I played it, and it didn't hit the quality that I wanted to go into the game. So we changed, and I took it out, and I made that decision alongside Chris and Erin, and we've held that back, and we're going to work on that towards a future patch. But I think definitely the more regular cadences has had the multiple benefits, and like I said, I want to dispel a myth right here, right now. Like, features are still being worked on quite heavily in the background, from radar and scanning in FPS, the new quantum, to inventory, engineering, and crafting, and all of those features are going to be coming very, very soon for players to get their hands on. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and say that if I was to go back to the start of the year, I would hope that we would have released more features. But I also think every decision we've made this year has been through the lens of making the live experience as stable and as good as possible.
Absolutely. All right, so that's a bit about the year before. And the year before has been, I've said this before, I've said it internally, I've said it out there, I'm going to say it right now again on camera. I think this has been the best year of Star Citizen ever, and I'm willing to look right into the camera and say that. The player numbers are up, engagement numbers are up, the length of play sessions are up, bug numbers are down, 30K is gone. It's been a solid year. But CitizenCon isn't CitizenCon without talking about the future, so I want to move us to the future. We've talked about story, we've talked about this more diegetic, immersive universe and adding voice lines and stuff like this. But where do we go from here? Obviously that can change.
As good and stable as possible. Are you shitting me?
Alive and real and breathing.
I think the biggest thing is to start having that conversation between.
He wouldn't shit you, you're his favorite
So if you
turd.
think about this year, like you mentioned, we've been having fully voiced NPCs, but a lot of those missions and those NPCs, they're talking to you, they're talking at you.
Right.
You don't get to talk back to them. Now obviously you get to interact with them through your actions, you get to go and do their mission and you get to move that along and then they talk to you again. But it's a one-way conversation.
We're missing that conversation wheel.
Exactly. The next part would be physical mission givers. That's something that we're going to be working towards very soon, with Battaglia being the first one coming back in the verse. And just to be clear, we will be bringing all the mission givers eventually back, and we want them to be an integral part of the verse and the story that players go and enjoy. We want the locations to be brought to life, and as we mentioned last year, we want to have interactive scenes that you can go and be part of. And obviously the full end goal is towards, you know, to have cinematic stories in the game, and that is what we're going to be pushing towards. Everything we do, every decision we make is through the lens of moving us closer to 1.0. It might sometimes be difficult to see why those decisions have been made at the time they've been made, but rest assured that Star Citizen 1.0 is still our North Star. That's what we're still aiming towards, and that's what we're going to be moving forward with every patch next year as well.
And remembering when mission givers were first introduced, they sometimes became a
I
bomb.
wonder, Vic, after
Is
I
there a
die and
role
you
in
inherit my
instancing,
account,
which
if
we
you'll
learned
ever
about
actually
earlier
see
today? Is there a role
1.0.
for instancing in that, in helping with mission givers?
Yes,
We were closer than we were last year.
One mechanism that will allow us to have players go to their own individual area of the verse, have that conversation, and then go and continue on.
I think we've
into
been
the
saying
open
that
world
since you were in your
environment.
20s and I
that's
was in my
where when we
30s.
look at instancing provides
Right.
one tool that allows us to remove that bottleneck and provide a more seamless experience.
Happy you said that, because that's one of our last topics I want to get to, is how we reconcile instancing with the persistent universe. Like, for the last 10 years now, we've been building this giant, seamless, persistent universe where everybody can come in and play together. And it would be easy to have a first instinct reaction to the idea of instancing and say that's antithetical to everything that Star Citizen is. But you mentioned last year these three pillars of building Star Citizen in the PU, and I want to know, you said nothing changed, but I want to ask you about this specifically. What are those three pillars again, and how does instancing fit within the greater design of Star Citizen?
So the three pillars I mentioned last year were open world. That's just like the missions you love today. You can go and play, there's other players there, and you can go and enjoy that together. Then we have instancing, which I'll talk about more, but similar to municipal works that we've talked about previously. And then the third pillar was dynamic content, which would be content that's generated by the activities of the players. And I think it's very easy to become myopic around one specific thing when we're talking about it a lot, when it's the next stage of our development. And I think you could reverse it. If we'd have made a game that was all instance, and then I'd come on camera and said, hey guys, we're going to start doing it open world, it would be like, oh, is the game changing? Are we doing open world now? Is open world the new North Star that's going to take us this way? And it's not. It's just one more tool that's going to allow us to offer different and dynamic experiences for players to go and engage in. Now, when I talk about instancing isn't always what you'd imagine as a solo instance experience where it's only just you. We're going to have several different versions of instances. Some are going to be closed instances, which will be like the new player experience. We'll be able for you to go in by yourself, for us to teach you the ropes in a safe environment so that you can understand how to play the complex game that we've made. But we'll also have open instances like a cantina or a bar where we might say, hey, we only want 50 people to come in here because we've got mission givers and we've got other NPCs for you to talk to, and you would just walk in and it would be seamless. You wouldn't know that there was an instance, you're not going to get a loading screen, you would just seamlessly walk into that location, it would be full of other players and NPCs, and you can go and enjoy the content. And that's, I think, something that instancing is going to provide us.
Bollocks.
It's going to give us a tool to offer different dynamic content, or
I think that makes sense.
content, as I'd say. It
Somewhat.
allows us to create experiences that are different to the open world experiences.
You're a little
that
more
we've already
optimistic
made.
than I am,
And it's
then,
not
I
to say that we
suppose.
won't continue our open world development or only do instance content. It's going to be a mix. And like I said, this is one of the pillars that will move us towards 1.0. We will eventually work on dynamic content that will move us towards 1.0.
This is the
All
road to
three of
loading
those
screens when you
pillars will
enter
interweave to
into
create
space
the full
stations.
Star Citizen experience.
All right, so we've hit a lot of the the bigger topics, the feature work, engineering, and FPS crafting coming to tech preview soon, stuff like this. We've talked about instancing and how that's going to work within the universe. But I want to ask you this one last big one. It's very easy to say Star Citizen is this kind of game and that kind of game. Those of us who spend our days making it know better. It's an everything game. It's everything we can make it game. It just is. But at the core of this is still spaceships. That life of spaceships. What more can you tell us about spaceship gameplay in the future? What can you give us? What can you tee up for us to look forward to for those of us who are really into Star Citizen for the spaceships?
Our intentions going forward are to make sure that every ship or ship archetype that you acquire has a role and has content that you can go and enjoy in the universe. For example, right now I know that we're working on more robust mining missions, more robust salvage missions. We're going to be working on refueling missions. And we want to make sure that each and every one of the ship has a purpose and has a reason to exist in the game. That's from the smallest Argo MPUV, as well as ground vehicles, all the way up to the large capital ships. We want to give them purpose, and I think it's something that we are absolutely aware of. We want to make sure that we're building that spectrum of content to allow players to go and engage in, and I think 2026 is going to be a very good year for Star Citizen, and I think there's going to be something that's very interesting and something that a lot of people have been waiting for, but rather than me spoil it, I'll let Ian and the team go into the details on that.
He had a twinkle in his eye. Ian, take it away.
So the persistent universe has existed for over 10 years now. During that time, we've created lots of gameplay systems, we've added hundreds of locations, we've added lots of mission activities for different purposes: combat, cargo, mining, salvaging. But for combat ships, the only thing you've been able to do is fight other combat ships. In 2026, this changes. We're going to be delivering a spaceship-focused activity space which incentivizes the use of different gameplay roles. These are going to be scenarios where you're going to have to plan and strategize and create operational tactics to overcome your objective. So what you're going to see is very early. It's early in the pipeline process, and it's going to come online about mid next year. But we're really excited about the content we're creating, so we want to share with you a super early look at what we're building in a space we're calling Tactical Strike Groups.
The People's Alliance are still trying to get to the bottom of what this new faction is really doing in the Nyx system.
They've sent a capital ship to check out a station and run into more than they can take care of themselves.
Unfortunately, that team came under attack and members of their groups were taken hostage. Now they've reached out to Intersec, who've reached out to you to help recover the pilot. Of course, it's unwise to do this alone, so you'll need to put a team together to attack the station.
When you arrive, you will have this big asteroid, kind of broken asteroid, and on this you will have this base where you will find 3 big arms. You will see in the middle, you will have this big energy core. Everything here has a purpose. It's not just for the show, just something nice to see.
You'll see a People's Alliance-owned Idris that's just on the outside, and it's going to be getting harassed by this unknown faction that you have met before.
So your first objective here is to clear out the ships. There'll be waves of these ships, so this is where you want your light or your medium or your heavy fighters, whichever playstyle you prefer.
So while one part of your group is dealing with the fighters, now it's time to actually assault the station.
This station has been outfitted to resist all of the obvious
There she is.
attacks.
Somehow they've incorporated Vanduul.
We let our token woman say 3 words.
These turrets ignore small fighters, and they have the firepower to destroy even the biggest capital ships.
Oh, look at this laser, man.
That looks painful.
The idea of these is so we can sort of make it so we can mix up that ship combat, and not everyone can just bring the biggest ship and win just because they have the biggest ship.
Nasty.
You have to send out your best pilots to navigate the superstructure and take down anything that may damage your bigger ships. So at this point you're thinking, destroy the turrets. But it's not that easy. This turret has shields that you've never seen before. It won't take any kind of damage. Your missiles won't do anything, your lasers won't do anything, your ballistics won't do anything to them. But like everything, they do have a weakness. You have to cut the power to their shields. To do that, that actually brings you to your first objective, the power relays.
So the exterior has a number of power relays that are holding the doors closed so that you can't get in.
You have to find them, you have to target them, and you have to destroy them. But it may not be as easy as it seems.
Here's our first wrinkle. The
Throw plushies at it.
relays have their own shields that are resistant to energy-based attacks.
We know how much you like
Pico, I chose you.
but so do these guys.
The Pico will take down that laser.
Capital ship can't get close enough because of the turrets.
So ships with explosive or ballistic ordnance will be needed here. That's torpedo ships like your Retaliator or Gladiator, or even another fighter with ballistics loadout. That's going to take you a while.
Once the power relays have been taken down, the station opens up.
And this is where things get really cool.
Now it's time for you to fly your ship inside the station.
Yeah, you, in your ship, fly into the superstructure of this station.
How cool is that?
I feel like this.
Looked like that fighter just nosedived into the
We're just going to call it what it is. It's
Right.
a trench run.
asteroid.
That's how I'm destroying the power relay.
So as you enter the structure, you'll see cooling units along the sides. That you need to take out.
Oh, Death Star vibes.
There's 3 arms to the station that have these trenches. You'll fly into one, and then there'll be a core in the center, and then you'll move out another trench.
You're either gonna do it multiple times, or you need to bring friends.
At this point, the core is still protected, so these are essentially strafing runs.
There are objects to avoid. You're going to have to be able to dodge. You're gonna have to
Okay, this is a Star Wars ripoff.
I'm loving it either way.
Shield generator that you're targeting is emitting lots of distortion damage.
Wait, hold on. Did they ever fly inside of a ship on Star Wars? I thought it was just over the top.
Which means that you can attack it from the inside and also
Yeah.
exhaust ports on the outside of the station. This core is armored and just takes a whole lot of damage.
Bro's dead.
Once the power core goes down, the turrets come down, and then the capital ships can get closer. Why is that important? Because during all of this, you spend a lot of ammo and munitions and ballistics, and you're going to want to top up.
This is where we're gonna get our new feature in: ship hangar refueling and rearming. You're gonna be able to land in the hangar of select ships and be able to use the same interface as you are right now at stations to refuel and rearm.
It's specifically for ships like the Idris and the Polaris and other ships
Oh.
that are designed to have other ships land inside them.
Of course, it'll be more than just those 2 ships, and you'll find out more once we get closer to release. But this is a really important feature that we're really excited to get out.
If you're not bringing your own Idris, the People's Alliance has.
Notice how many ships were landing?
Can provide a safe port in a storm, allow you to set back up and head back out.
And it's a good thing that you've rearmed and refueled too, because now another group of ships is coming to attack the People's Alliance Idris.
That better be a new emote they add in.
fighters are protecting the Idris, what's happening at the station? Well, that's where the dropships come in.
Now you've got to take a fire team in. You've got to land, you've got to fight through an onslaught of FPS enemies that belong to this unknown faction, and you've got to open a hangar door which will allow you to release captives from the station.
So when are we getting this combat slide that I keep seeing?
Got to make sure they get to safety.
This is in the future. This is a sneak peek. Can't wait for this to bug out.
All of this sounds pretty simple, but there's an additional...
You're gonna slide right out of the base.
So up until this
Yeah.
Fly through a wall and keep falling down the planet. Yeah.
the enemies of the station have their own enemies.
Gonna slide from Pyro to Stanton.
really don't like these guys for some reason will come in and wreak havoc on everything.
And they're not going to discriminate between you and the station. They're out for blood. When you alert the Vandal by destroying the power core,
Jeez. Oh, there we go.
You're on a time limit. Vandal are coming. They're going to come hard. They're going to keep coming. You're going to have one hell of a fight.
It's a Vandal scandal.
We need a guy named Randall. Randall, it's a Vandal scandal.
Tactical strike groups. And personally...
Oh, there we go. A cap ship. Finally. Looks good.
Created a variety of content. Some of it was very focused on FPS combat. So personally, driving a more vehicle-based experience was very important to me. This is a defining statement that I want to do in 2026. We're a spaceship game. There are prized possessions. To the objects we fall in love with. This is the content we want to create, which creates scenarios and roles for you to use those spaceships. We won't get to all roles initially, but we should see this as a landmark, a position where we can see a gameplay space which incentivizes the use of different ships and scenarios to clear objectives and complete missions in a variety of roles. And in the future, we can use this to expand on. So I hope you're all just as excited as I am for tactical strike groups. They're gonna be fantastic.
Okay.
Yay, we did it!
Why do you still have the puppet? John, come home. All right, so tactical strike groups. You know, it's been a long road for the last 10 years. The PU's been around. We've done lots to build stuff for mining ships and for salvage ships. And as Rich said, we're currently building out even more for those. And our first refueling missions coming online in 2026. But combat missions. Oh, hi, Aaron Roberts. Aaron Roberts. But finally having enough of the foundation in place that we can begin to build real spaceship operations. Hesitate, you know, in any other MMO they'd call dungeons. It's really exciting for me, and that's why we're ending the show this year with that. So yeah, that's been CitizenCon Direct. Thank you for taking the time to share this with us. Again, this is just a glimpse at some of what's coming in 2026. I've seen the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat like, oh, you're spoiling everything. I promise, we ain't. So before we let you go, that's it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as with every CitizenCon, the last word shouldn't be mine. It should belong to our founders and CEO. So take it away, Chris Roberts.
I hope you enjoyed this glimpse into some of what the team is cooking for the near future. Of course, we're not going to spoil everything that's currently in progress, and many features we haven't discussed today are in active development, like base building, social, and trade tools that are very much a priority. These, along with bringing the final polished features from Squadron 42 into the persistent universe, will make next year the most exciting yet for Star Citizen. Finally, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone at CIG for working so tirelessly and with so much passion to deliver something that is already special and will only get more so as we continue. And of course, to all of you for making all this possible with your support and feedback. We couldn't do this without all of you, something that I and the team appreciate every day. We are very lucky to be allowed the time and the money to build a game of all of our dreams, something that is only more apparent as the video game business becomes more monolithic. We are one of the few large independents left standing, and there is no way we would be allowed to dream as big as we are on an original game and take the time to achieve that dream if we were part or funded by any of the few remaining mega game companies. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all in the verse this coming year.
So they're gonna end it with like a cliffhanger or something, or?
Nah, dude, that's it.
Surely not, right?
That's it. See you on the verse. Very light. No real Easter eggs.
That is such.
At least now we have a ship that has a bucket as a toilet, which I bought. So. I think the purses were.